This is a Miami Sports Music Podcast Network production. This is the #1 Miami fan morning show. Clock blockers, let's go.
I know the whole city riding. A little early, it's a bit surprising. Business moves, now we enterprising. Switch it up, now we improvising. Go to get in the winter collar.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Stephen D, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. To a time. Well, whose time it's going to be, I don't know. You know whose time is up, though? Josh Boyers. I know his time is up. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. I'm your host, Stephen D. You can follow me on all social media at Stephen D SKPL. Spread kindness, positivity, and love. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Make sure you follow me on my Twitter because, you know, my Twitter game, it needs to get strong. My Twitter game needs to get stronger. Okay, I love Twitter. Get up on Twitter, especially during this time of the year. When sporting events can be a little look, we got like 3 more weeks left of football and then it's over. And for Dolphin fans, some people don't even care no more. Okay. Follow me on Twitter at Stephen D SKPL. Make sure y'all do that. You can follow Miami Sports Music everywhere, allwhere at Miami Sports Music, except on Twitter where it is at MIA Sports Music. Make sure y'all do that as well. Hey, if you haven't done so already, hit the like button. Hit it, tap it, whatever you got to do to it. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. That PJ Mack said, get that Twitter game strong. Trying to get that Twitter game strong. I'm going to make you boys strong. Y'all know, what is it? My man with Damon Wayans, where he's the, I'm going to make you boys strong. Yeah. Oh, Major Pain. That's what it is. And the little engine that could choo. Sorry, got a little carried away. PJ Mack got me going there this morning. PJ Mack, I love movies. Major Pain, Chef. She said, yes, Major Pain. I've been known to cut a little rug in my day. Y'all, if you haven't never seen that movie, you need to go watch it. It's really, really good. Make sure, did I say, hey, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Only 7 likes, 24 of y'all in here. Come on, hit the like button and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel. Make sure y'all do that today. It's free. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button. Let's go. PJ Mack said, that's my favorite movie. It is a good one. I do like it. Hey, if you haven't done so already, sign up, become a member of the channel. PJ Mack, you're not a member of the family, are you, bud? You need to sign. Matter of fact, I'm gonna put this in the link. What is being a member of the family? Well, you know, it allows you to donate to the show on a regular monthly basis and show your support. And you get a little wrench next to your name, an emoji, and you get some power. You know, Robert, who else? Robert, Kings 1989, PJ Mack. Who else, man? We had Ted S. Come on, sign up, become members today. I just dropped the link in the chat. Would love to see you become a member of the family. That's my Vin Diesel Fast and Family. Make sure y'all do that today. Big deal, okay? Hey, help the channel grow by donating. Lots of different ways you can do it. You guys can use the YouTube Live Super Chat, which is the $ below the bottom of the chat. You can do that there. Chef Shu said, challenge of the day, at least 3 new members today. I would love to see it. Would love to see it. William Perry said, look at Steven out here panhandling. Ain't getting no tickets up here, William. We'll do a matter of fact. Let me hold on. See, now you got me going. Will podcast for donations. Will podcast. See, I got to write it for donations. Go Vince. See, there we go. There's my panhandling. Can't see it because of the white. Here we go. There we go. Will podcast for donations. There's my panhandling, William. Will podcast for donations. Please. Okay, make sure y'all do that. Donate to the channel, help the channel grow. That was a good one, William. I like that. That was pretty good. You guys in the chat this morning are a little wing, wing, bing, bing. morning. You guys are quick this morning with the draw. I like it. Hey, you can donate through Cash App and PayPal to MSM Podcast Network with the $ in front of it, or MSM Podcast Network. Use the QR code right on your screen. Make sure y'all do that. Okay? Make sure y'all do that. Want to give a big shout out to our sponsors of the show, ZSM Sports. Why ZSM? Well, see, ZSM is absolutely amazing. We love Zachary and everything he does over at ZSM Sports. Cards, jerseys, balls, and hard-to-find items. Make sure you follow ZSM Sports today. Want to let you know, hey, Salvan Ahmad. He is doing a signing alert. If you are interested in getting a Salvan Ahmad autographed anything, jersey, ball, helmet, 8x11, reach out to our boy at ZSM Sports today. You can hit him up on Twitter at SportsZSM. Hangry Owls, good food, good mood, craft subs, and salads. We love us some Hangry Owls. Make sure you give him a call today at 305-279-5332. And make sure you follow him on social media at HANGRYALS. William Perry, you guys are too much. You guys are a trip this morning in the chat. Veza, we love some Veza. Shout out to Veza. Born and raised, a beer created for the fans, by the fans, the official beer of Clock Blockers. I will tell you, I had a conversation with Veza yesterday. Miami Sports Music and Veza is going to be doing some big things in 2023, and I'm super stoked about it. We're going to take a little sample size of what we did this year and put it on a bigger scale next year. Maybe Veza is the exclusive home, the exclusive watch party home, maybe something of that effect next year. We had a big conversation yesterday with Veza, and I'm pretty excited about the direction that that's heading in. So keep your fingers crossed, pray for that if you want to see the channel grow and get big. That's a big deal. Love Veza. A great place to sit.com. We love a great place to sit.com. If you guys need concert, sports, theater, anything, any event, anywhere in the world, a great place to sit.com is the place to go. So make sure you guys use it today. The price you see is the price you get. Okay, it's awesome. Make sure you guys do that. Tail Greeter. We absolutely love Tail Greeter. Download the app today on your current Apple or Android device today. Okay, all right, here we go. This is, all right. This is my, I got to say something nice about Apple every day. Okay. All right. So my nice one thing about Apple today, Apple phones don't overheat a lot. They overheat sometimes, but not a lot. Okay. Not a lot. I have to say one nice thing every day about Apple phones because I'm Team Android all day. Love him. I love my Android. But I have to say something nice every day for a month. For you guys donated enough to the channel a week ago, and all right. I just got to say one nice thing every day about them. Anyway, I will come up with something new on Monday, but that's what you get today. All right. So make sure you download the app today on your current Apple or Android device today. And I'm not really allowed to say crapple. You guys have no idea how much I'm hurting. This is like eating me up inside, saying something semi-nice about them. Team Android all day. All right. Hey, I do want to remind you a few things. Obviously, it is Spread Kindness Friday. We're going to talk about Josh Boyer getting fired. But we have a really something cool that I'm really excited about. It is another way for you guys to get something back from the channel, as well as for us to obviously make some money here at the channel and help the channel grow and do a lot of things. As a matter of fact, there's a lot of stuff that I did this year, and credit card bills are piling up from stuff that I did this year. So I was like, what are some weird, fun ways we can do some stuff here at the channel to help the channel grow and move things in a forward direction? Okay, so what I decided to do, you guys know I'm not a huge gambling guy. And not that I'm not a huge gambling guy. I haven't gambled in over 5.5 years, but I know a lot of people love to do it. And I know that a lot of people enjoy the opportunity to watch the game with a little something added extra on it. So I sat down with some of the guys, and this is what we decided to do. We are going to do a Miami Sports Music Super Bowl box pool. Okay. You have 100 boxes here. All right. and they were $50 a box. All right. You can only send payment through Cash App or PayPal, as you see there. And you also have to send your name and the box numbers. Here, let me move the Tail Greeter logo off the top here so you guys can actually see what that thing says. All right, there we go. Send box numbers and names to VP Miami Sports Music at gmail.com. If you guys need that email, it's in the link below, just so you guys know, or in the description below. You can send payment to Cash App or PayPal, $MSN Podcast Network or MSN Podcast Network. When you send the money on Cash App or PayPal, make sure you send your name with a message in the payment. And I need the box numbers, obviously. Okay. Once we get this thing full, it'll be good. There'll be a payout at the end of every quarter. At the end of the first quarter, it'll be $250. At the end of the second quarter, it'll be $500. At the end of the third quarter, we'll give out $750. And the final score, whoever gets those numbers, will get $1,000. So make sure you all send that. I want to get this box filled up. I guess we got, 3 weeks to fill this thing up. I think we can do it at $50 a box. We'll see what happens. So, this is a great opportunity for, obviously the channel to, make some money, pay some bills, as well as, the opportunity for you guys to make some money back and enjoy something fun for the Super Bowl. And, we'll keep it going. So I'm even considering doing a live stream for the Super Bowl. I haven't put that in stone yet, but I'm considering it. So we'll see what happens. So $50 per block. Send numbers and names to VP Miami Sports Music at gmail.com. Send the payment in Cash App or PayPal. Make sure you don't put box pull in there. I don't want to get my PayPal or Cash App shut down. When you send the money, make sure you just put your name with the payment in there, and you make sure you send your box number and names and a confirmation of the payment in an email. Okay, so make sure y'all do that. Hope we can get some box numbers filled out. I feel like once a few of those boxes get filled out, the rest will start to follow. And we'll do some really good here. And I have a feeling if we get towards the end and we need to fill out some of those last few boxes, we'll make it happen. We'll do some cool stuff. But let's get some of these boxes filled up. 100 boxes, $50 a box. All right. Make sure you all send the money on Cash App or PayPal. All right. Today is Spread Kindness Friday. Love Spread Kindness Friday. And that means I have a co-host with me. Let me bring him on. The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jason Sarney. What's up, Jason?
Morning, my dude. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday to you. How are you?
I'm well. Today is the first day of the rest of our franchise's life. So I'm very, very happy.
I love how
cheers.
Every time something happens within the franchise, we're like, all right, this is the first day moving forward. We've only been saying that for how long? 20, 30 years?
I'll tell you, I used to play a little basketball in my day, and I went to a sleepaway camp, a 5-star basketball camp, and every morning the owner of the camp would get on the PA announcement and said, today, the first day of the rest of your lives. And you know what? It's the most pertinent quote out there because it's true every day. And it's what you do. But it's going to be on defense for the Dolphins. Let's see how they staff. Very good day going on into a full off season for the Dolphins right now.
Jason, thank you for coming on today. We love having you on Spread Kindness Fridays. If you guys want to go see Jason Sarney's, everything that he does, go follow him on Twitter at Jason_Sarney. Before we get going, just want to remind everybody that Mr. Jason Sarney had a birthday yesterday.
Oh.
So happy birthday, Jason.
Thank you.
Super excited that you're hanging out with us the day after your birthday. What are you, 22, 23, in that range, 24?
A couple of years left in the 20s, sir. Yes, leave it at that.
Okay. A couple of years left in the 20s. I got you. Did you do anything fun for your birthday yesterday?
Yeah, no, I had a good mix, work, hung out with the kids a little bit. Just really had a nice relaxing day and enjoyed myself with the family.
There we go. By the way, we got our first couple of boxes. Box number 72 in the pool's been got. Big Dougie B got box number 72. He said, give me box number 72, cuz.
That's a good one.
I like box number 72. I got to print that thing out and start writing them down. Big Dougie B. Shout out to Big Dougie B for getting in on the box pool. I'm pretty excited about the box pool, man. You've done these before, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Oh, love box pools ever since I was like 11, 12. The first box pool I did was the Leon Lett mistake with Don Beebe returning a kick, the Dallas Cowboy Buffalo Bills Super Bowl. Year before the Leon Lett Miami mistake. So guy had a couple of rough years.
The last time I really actually I didn't I think I was already not gambling at this point. What was it? The Patriots Seahawks Super Bowl. When was that? How many years ago was that?
Oh man, well, 8,
7. So I was still gambling then at this point. We went to a Super Bowl house, and it was like I had done these before, but it was never really like a huge thing. But this Super Bowl party was like predicated on the Super Bowl box pools. So when you came in, you hung up your coat, and then you had to pay to get into the box pool. And my wife won like 2 of the quarters. Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay. And yeah, she was the only. It was. She's like, look, I'll root for Seattle, but I'm telling you, New England's gonna win. And we're all mad at her for saying what's gonna happen, right? And she was right. So she hit on everything that day.
It's a good day for her, not for us.
My wife is much smarter than me, I can tell you that right now.
Hey, the first step is admitting it, my man.
William, the Ice Tray Perry just took box number 13.
That was the net. I wasn't going to put it out there.
72 and 13 gone. Just gone.
Can I
box number 13 and 72. Y'all better get in where you fit in. Get your box numbers up. Let's go. Super excited about that. Here we go. Y'all need to share it. Share it everywhere. I did tweet it out yesterday on my Twitter. So if you go on my Twitter and on my Facebook page and my Instagram, it's all there. So if y'all can go retweet that would be big. So make sure y'all do that. All right, man, let's get into the news that kind of broke yesterday. Well, this whole week we were talking about, how the Dolphins would change or moving forward, right? And I think, at the end of yesterday's show, we were like, well, they haven't fired Boyer yet. And you think they would have done so already. We're like, so maybe they're going to move forward with what they got. Only for 3 hours later, the Dolphins in the afternoon to be like, we're making coaching changes. This is what we're going to do. So they fired Josh Boyer, the linebackers coach, the outside linebackers coach, and the secondary coach, if I'm correct, or one of the secondary coaches. Let's just start off by first what they pulled off and why it took a week for it to happen. Why do you think that happened? Just your thoughts on that, Jason.
I tweeted earlier in the week, I was very confident that, and I hate saying it like this, I don't mean to be, like a vicious individual, but I had a very good feeling, very, very good feeling that they were going to move on from Boyer. And what happens in a usual process, and sometimes it's a lot quicker than others with organizations that have been with the same brain trust and head coaching staff for a while, but you got to interview players, you got to interview coaches, you got to interview the coordinators, you got to get their exit interviews, you got to see what's going on, and sometimes that process takes a little bit of time. And I don't mean to, joke around about time, but we've seen a rookie coach take his time. And that might very well have been a very due diligence or drawn out process for a couple of days. Obviously, everybody wanted it Tuesday. Everyone was waiting for it Monday, and Wednesday comes along and there's zero patience in this world of instant gratification and instant news. But if you really look at why they did it, if you ask 100 people, was this justified? 99 really should say numerically, yeah. And then there's a lot of other things that are internally, and I'm not going to go give a whole dissertation, but this was a warranted situation. And you know what? I wish Coach Boyer well. My guess is if Brian Flores gets a head coaching job somewhere or a head job somewhere, he's going to bring Boyer along with him. He will land on his feet.
It sounds like, the Arizona Cardinals had an interview again this morning. But from everything that I've read, he is the favorite to get the Cardinals job, Brian Flores. He's the favorite at least. But
I'll say I hope for it.
To go back to the firing, was Boyer fired because of results? Or was he fired because he was the guy that was forced upon Mike McDaniel? And because there wasn't that good of results, he's like, you either got to be perfect or you're gone. And he didn't have a big error window for him. Like the writing was on the wall.
I like the way you phrased the question, and I'm going to word my answer the best way that I can. Last year at this time, as candidates were rolling in, it was told, yes, Boyer's going to be your defensive coordinator. Have at it offensively. These are the defensive guys we're going to retain, and Josh Boyer is going to be the defensive coordinator, for better or for worse. Now, why they did that was because, when the architect leaves and forgets a couple of blueprints, and it's a gorgeous structure and building, when all the parts are working, good idea to hire the apprentice or keep the apprentice in the building. Now, to Boyer's defense, Byron Jones situation, Emmanuel Ogbah, Brandon Jones, Nick Needham. We were talking like 3 weeks in a row. Boom, boom, boom.
Gone.
Big time injuries. And then to Boyer's credit, you got the next guys up with a Cater Kohu. To Chris Greer's credit, you needed a pass rusher. You go and you get Bradley Chubb. Results aside, look, numbers weren't jumping off the page, but Chubb did really kind of help Jalen Phillips kind of get cooking. Phillips is a beast, would have probably done so in some form. They didn't make the Chubb deal, but that certainly helped. But overall, Boyer had his strengths, showed his weaknesses. And I'm going to do my best to be kind of objective here. I'm not Boyer bashing. I'm trying to really tell the truth. And the truth is, from a coach to player, from an implementation of what's going on in the game and fixing it, those were not his strengths and strong suits. Finding talent, absolutely. Give him an A. Give him an A+ for finding and recognizing talent. But there's a very big difference between the talent finders and then those who know what to do with the talent. Scheme, snap count, players that had drastically reduced snap counts this year. I'm not going to give names, but you could do the back research. Players who were used differently in a sense. Yes, the injuries caused other schematic situations where maybe Javon Holland couldn't do everything Javon Holland's capable of doing. Javon Holland had to play 3 roles essentially this year. His, Brandon Jones, all the injuries that they suffered all kind of fell on Holland. So statistically, it wasn't, wow, we got the best safety in the league. Javon Holland, with his supporting cast, makes that secondary help go with the cornerbacks. So I really don't necessarily know if he would have been in this position if everybody was healthy. But ultimately, what kills me, and I was watching it this year from week 5, 6 on, if it was 3rd and 11, I was terrified. And you can't have any confidence in your defense. And am I the only one? 3rd and 15, 3rd and 9. Whether it was a quarterback rush, where there was a soft coverage situation where they're dumping to a back so they can maybe get 8 yards, but they pick up 16. How many times did that happen? And then that Los Angeles Charger game, to me, the Eckler play where he was able to score instead of just tightening that defense up and holding them to a field goal. When you think about how the game could have played out, there's very justified reasons why the Dolphins are moving on. And now we're going to move on.
And rightfully so, right? And rightfully so. You look at what the Dolphins have done and the moves that they've made throughout the years. I've always said one of my biggest problems is when they bring on a new GM, they retain the head coach. When they retain the head coach, they keep the GM. Well, the same is true for the coaching staff, right? We had Gerald Alexander here at the end of last year, and he was high up on a lot of people's list, and the Dolphins just got straight rid of him, right? Now, Gerald Alexander might have been a Flores, hangover and retain from that, from there. But for some reason, Alexander obviously didn't stay for whatever the reason is. I think there was personal stuff in there personally, but
I could give a little bit of color and clarity on that. And this is, again, I'm going to do my best to choose the words properly. You brought it up, so I'd be remiss to not jump in here. And people could do whatever they want to back research and make their whatevers, but there was a decision that could have been made to retain Alexander. Of course, he didn't help by being vocal. He's a vocal guy. the Flores situation, that didn't help. When you're talking about what went down in an organization as vocal as him, that did not help. However, there could have been a decision by someone who is now no longer on the team, with the team, that could have said, I want him in my defensive room.
Okay.
And that was a no.
I mean, look, I that much I kind of knew just from backdoor channels and stuff like that. But I look at that and I said at the beginning of the year when McDaniel was hired, I said, look, he's being forced to have Boyer, right? Because of how good the Dolphins defense played the year prior. I said, good, bad, or indifferent, Boyer has very little wiggle room. And if Boyer does not live up to standards, he's going to be gone. And he didn't, right? And you look at, not only was Boyer gone, some of the defensive coaching staff was gone right along with him. So I wasn't surprised that what went down yesterday. I was surprised how long it took. And some people are like, well, it took because they wanted to look at, tape and they wanted to reevaluate and make sure they were making the right decision and calculated. But then you miss out on, for example, like Jim Schwartz, right? Jim Schwartz would have been like my number one DC. Well, now he's in Cleveland, I think. He was picked up by Cleveland 24 hours ago, right? So the longer you wait, the less opportunities you have available to you. And I feel like that's one of my problems with the Dolphins is they don't always pull the trigger right when they need to. Now, I know this can lead to other rabbit holes and other conversations, a.k.a. the quarterback, a.k.a. the Ryan Tannehill situation. They don't, pull the trigger. But that's always been something that for the Dolphins organization as a whole has bothered me, that they don't pull the trigger when they need to pull the trigger. Do you agree with that?
Very much so. And I'll fault it to a positive that sometimes ends up being a negative. They do a lot of due diligence, and this is an inner sanctum of the team that isn't just Chris Greer. He's got a partner in his, he's got a partner in crime, and Brandon Shore really constructs and manipulates and handles the salary cap. Of course, you throw in Stephen Russ, throw in Tom Garfinkel, and then you throw in all the people who work for those individuals who are feeding them the information of what they want to do with the roster. So I think it's almost like when you have a guy like a Jerry Jones in Dallas, he wants to do it, he does it. He's not sending a memo. He's not calling a meeting. I think it's different in Miami. I think that there's people who are discussing, and this is speculation. This is speculation right here, this inner sanctum thing. I think that there is a lot of due diligence that Greer does with the people who he trusts in that core group before they pull a trigger. They are okay with waiting. They do have lists of, if it's not Jim Schwartz, if it's not Vic Fangio, they'll have their contingencies. Just like with all these, free agents or running backs, they'll have their price. If it's exceeded, draft pick money or otherwise, they'll move on. They're going to do their necessary due diligence, and they have plan A, plan B, plan C, plan D. And one of those, if they hit, I think they're going to be okay to ride with.
All right, so they make this move yesterday. One of the other decisions that wasn't made that I was very surprised was the special teams coordinator and Danny Crossman, that he was not a part of this firing. Again, do you think this is a calculated move? Do you think that the Dolphins thought about Danny Crossman getting fired? Why was Danny Crossman not a part of this firing? Because I got to be honest, I was perplexed by the non-move.
I was a little surprised too. I'll say that at this exact point, is he going to be the special teams coach next year? Maybe 50-50. There's still decisions that could be made. The special teams was very underwhelming this year, both return, both.
It has been the last couple of years.
Ever since Dan
Rizzi left, this special teams 100%. Has been question mark, and at the bottom of the league.
And the problem there, too, is that special teams with all the rules this year, it's like you're really just – special teams is almost like a wash. Just, all right, they kick, touchback, whatever. You shouldn't really give up 40-yard returns on kickoffs anymore. It's almost like they've gone poof. The Dolphins have given up 4 this past season, or whatever it was. Packer game was a huge one. Obviously, they got away with it in the Cleveland game. But, there was no oomph, there was no pizzazz, there was no anything the last couple of years, where Rizzi was almost like an assistant head coach type, So yeah, we definitely miss a Rizzi.
Look, I was surprised that Danny Crossman wasn't a part of it, but it goes back to my earlier statement of I thought that the Dolphins would get rid of Boyer the day after the season ended. They waited a week to do it. so I'm not putting it past that Danny Crossman still isn't on the hot seat, and for that matter, some of the other people in the deal aren't. But there are, but he could be retained. He could end up staying. It would be very interesting, obviously, to see. So now we got, Boyer's gone. Everybody and their brother now has this wish list of who we'd like to see at defensive coordinator. So the moment you saw that, who was some of the first people that came to your mind as far as a wish list, and who are some of the people that you've heard that the Dolphins are going to look at?
Initially when I was having the dreams of hearing the news, Jim Schwartz, Vic Fangio. Now today, Schwartz is gone. Fangio is still in the equation, I'm sure, until he's off it or until he's a Dolphin. Then I really want to see what happens with D'Amico Ryans and the staff that he maybe constructs. If he's a head coaching candidate, obviously, from San Francisco's defense, top-end unit. Obviously, there's ties with McDaniel. Clearly, he should be a head coach, when the Niners are done. He really should be scooped up. But if that happens, he's probably going to take as much of that defensive staff as possible. But if there's any chance that he does not, become a head coach, he's the guy. And if he doesn't completely, take people away, I'd like to see what he does from the San Francisco time. This is McDaniel and his opportunity to do what he didn't really have last year, is construct in his vision, in his mindset, how he wants to really hand the reins over for half the game on defense. I really hope that it's never a situation where McDaniel will have to do what he had to do to Boyer in the Detroit game, I think it was, although it happened to help Boyer in the defense in the second half. But remember Dick LeBeau?
Yep.
Remember Dick LeBeau? I want a guy like that. Just give me a guy like that who McDaniel could say, you know what? I trust you. Do it. And I'll see you in 3 months, essentially.
So here's I'm very excited, and let me tell you why I'm very excited. So, by the way, yesterday before the news dropped, Jerome Baker did tweet out an emoji of a mad face, a red.
Nothing to do with it.
It had nothing to do with it.
Nothing to do with it.
Okay, there are people that saying it did.
It did not, because he even took the time to make an even bigger tweet saying he can't stand when Twitter people take tweets and think it's about football.
Okay, all right.
Remember, I have a breaking news story. Football players are human beings with other aspects of their lives. Luckily I work, with a nice little great marketing company. I do a lot of freelance work. When I was going into an office every day for like a corporation, you know what I wasn't going to do on social media? Talk negatively about my company. Talk negatively about work. I was going to say something about a movie I watched or about the Dolphins, but not everybody.
When they tweet, is it directly related?
The best is, I think Nick Needham tweeted a rap lyric or something like 2 years ago, and everyone's like, "Oh, he's gone." I'm like, "No, he's not. This is a rap lyric. This is a Lil Yeezy or Little whatever song. I don't know, but I don't know. It's just really funny stuff. A Drake song. I don't know." But to me,
I get what you're saying.
Everyone loves
All right. Well, then there's that, because I was like, I don't know how, I know when Flores left, there was a lot of uproar from players on the online community on social media, right?
Well, that was blatant. That wasn't emoji. That was
okay. That's true. It was blatant. Now, to go back to my original point, I'm very excited because now what this tells me as a fan is the Miami Dolphins are giving control as much as possible to Mike McDaniel and basically saying, bring your guys in here, whoever you want, bring them in. All right. And I would say that not seeing Sam Madison get, fired yesterday wasn't nor should he have, in my opinion, with all the injuries that were depleted, and as good as Cater Kahoo, he definitely obviously deserved to obviously stay. And I think he's one hell of a secondary coach. We've seen what he did in Kansas City, and he had already established himself there. And I was excited to see what he could do here. But as far as like the opportunity for McDaniel to bring in his own people, it excited me. And then I had the wish list, right? Well, let me just talk about the list in general. Vic Fangio, who, by the way, was a head coaching candidate for us the year prior. All right. Then you have John Fox, Steve Wilkes, Marvin Lewis, Mike Zimmer, Lovie Smith, Joe Woods, Gerard Mayo, Chris Couric, Chris Richard, Eric Washington, and there's probably a few other people that are thrown into there, right? The number one person I want is not a person. I want a former head coach or a former defensive coordinator that has done it on a semi-successful or a successful level in general, right? I love the name Vic Fangio. I love the name Lovie Smith. Those are probably two that go to the top of the list, and here's why. We have a rookie head coach, well, going into his second year now. And the one thing that I don't think he had in the room was a voice of reason to be able to rely on. He was the head honcho. When you have a Lovie Smith or Vic Fangio in the room, you're able to keep those guys in another room and say, well, what do you think of this overall? You've done this before. Exactly. How does this work?
Exactly.
What do you think? I would love Mike Zimmer's on there too, right? Zimmer, Lovie Smith, and Fangio. If we get any one of those three guys, I am ecstatic. Like the Dolphins went above and beyond in the offseason.
This is exactly the formula. It's exact. I mean, you need a guy who, when not only, I mean, look, when he's showing his defense, whomever it is, one of these type of guys, head coach, defensive coordinator, veteran NFL freaking guy, you know? Oh, when I had this guy, he did it this way and this way. Oh, Jalen Phillips, you remind me of him. Linebacker that I bring in. Dolphins have no linebackers. We have 5 free agent linebackers. So let's say it's the secondary. Let's say he's talking about safeties. When I had this guy, he's got to really go into the well of his NFL knowledge and bring it to these players. Because the defense on paper, great talent. No one could really argue that one healthy. It really, the front line and the defensive secondary, when healthy, monstrous. They need to tighten up the linebacking core, but a coach could do that. I mean, Vic Fangio is a linebacker. He's a linebacker. He was a linebacker. You know? I mean, this is the kind of guy that you need. You need that kind of guy who's been in the trenches, who knows how to do it. Obviously, trenches is not linebacker, but you know what I'm saying. Who's been on the field, who's been in the locker rooms for years, been to the road conference championship games, been to maybe a Super Bowl, and maybe the best thing in the world would be a guy who has a ring where if someone asked the questions, how would you do it? He'd be like this. That's how.
Like in draft day, he's like, well, we got one of these here in Dallas.
Yeah, they win a lot. Exactly.
And he's like, I think you did a bad job of babysitting.
Well, you know what I mean, but that's what I want. I want a guy who could literally walk in, plug and play from a coaching standpoint. And you mentioned 3 or 4 guys. If it's not Vic, there's Lovie Smith would be great.
Oh my God! Could you imagine getting Lovie Smith? Thank God, thank the Houston Texans for screwing it up.
Is Todd Bowles was let go too? Is that, or did that not happen?
I don't know if Todd Bowles was let go yet.
All right, but that's another. I mean, look, if he becomes available, Miami ties. You know, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, look, any Zimmer. Oh my God, give me Zimmer, right?
Yeah.
I would love to see it. I think it would do wonders for McDaniel. I don't see why. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Miami Fan Talk with the $5 donation. Appreciate it. Said Sam Madison, DC. Imagine Sam Madison being able to learn from a Lovie Smith or a Vic Fangio or a Mike Zimmer, right? Sam Madison might have aspirations to do that. I don't think he's there yet, but he might have aspirations to do that. And if he can learn from a Lovie Smith, a Vic Fangio, a Mike Zimmer, I think that would do wonders to accelerating his opportunity to be a defense. And maybe he's the replacement when one of those 3 guys goes to take a head coaching opportunity again in the future. But as we saw this year, there are some people that if you're on the right team, they want to stay with that team because of what's being built here. And I think that there is something special being built here. At least that's my hope.
I mean, I 100% agree. In terms of Sam Madison, I mean, credential-wise, resume-wise, pardon, he's heading there, if not there yet. Opinion on my side is that they're going to go with a defensive coordinator who philosophically or by just nature, front 7 kind of guy, defensive line, linebacker oriented. I think the Dolphins have to flip their defensive identity. The days of the, two best cornerbacks in the league in the same, defensive backfield are over. I mean, we're not looking at Xavier Howard from 2 years ago. We're not looking at Byron Jones again, ever. So let's develop those young secondary members, those two safeties, Javon and Brandon, but you really got to put emphasis on the front seven. And that's the type of guy I want.
Miami Fan Talk with the $2 donation said 100%. Appreciate it. I appreciate that you agree with me. Caslin143 says Iziro Evero. I hope I said that name right. If I didn't, I apologize. Is my pick. He has learned from Vic Fangio, Mike McCarthy, and Sean McVay. He is younger, but the dude had Denver's defense playing really good. Caslin, I'm glad you brought up a young name like this. I'm not saying that he's not the guy, and I'm not saying that this guy won't be successful, right? I really don't know anything about this guy, but in general, just a younger, exciting defensive guru, the same way McDaniel was, right, as an offensive guru. I think there's things that they can't do. There's things that they're not able to process as a head coach or a defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator. Because there's nobody that's wiser in the room, right? McDaniel, love the guy. Glad he's our head coach for the most part now, right? I say that because I always want to fall back on what I wanted was a veteran former head coach, somebody that had wiseness to him that was able to adapt to a younger crowd by bringing in a young guru on offense and a young guru on defense and knew what they wanted. But we're at where we're at with McDaniel. What he's the head coach. I think he needs somebody to rely on. He needs somebody to lean on. And I think that for me, a veteran former head coach in the NFL, Vic Fangio, Mike Zimmer, Lovie Smith, he can do that with those, or somebody that's been a coordinator for 20 years in the NFL, right? So that's what I believe, that it's not only good for the defense, but it's good for McDaniel. McDaniel needs to have somebody wiser in the building.
Let me give you an example. And I love, sometimes to a fault, making my comparisons to other sports, but it's people here. All right. If I could say who's the best basketball coach ever, who's the best basketball coach in your lifetime? Let's just
I would probably go Phil Jackson.
Great. I love it. Thank you. You're walking.
Pat Riley's there too, but Phil's probably the best.
Phil. What was Phil's claim to fame?
The triangle.
Right. Do you know who invented the triangle offense?
I don't.
A gentleman by the name of Tex Winter. He was born in 1922. You know what Tex Winters was doing in the latter portion of his life? Phil Jackson hired him to be an assistant coach. He brought in the guy who he took the offensive philosophy from and said, I need you to come on my staff and help me implement. The best basketball coach that you probably just said needed help implementing it. So he brought in the guy. That's what we need. We need a guy to have that selfless to say, you know what? I need help. Come on in. You're a veteran. You know it. You've been there. Come in. You got it. Tell my guys what to do. I don't think Flores did that last year. I think Flores hired people who he wanted to be under him to build his tree. You know what I'm saying? Like that maybe aspect of trying to develop.
Yeah, I mean, look, I have my we've exhausted the Flores conversation, but I agree with you, by the way. That was
just a backdated, But I want a guy who's
But McDaniel needs to have somebody older and wiser in that building for him to lean on.
Correct.
And I think that's where the defensive coordinator would come in. And if he were to get somebody like Lovie, oh my God, Lovie Smith, to me, Lovie Smith is probably my dream defensive coordinator. It probably is.
I'd be thrilled with that. Like I said, 5 names that you mentioned, put in a hat, I'm happy.
And I by the way, I love Fangio. I love Zimmer. I mean, any one of those guys. But, a former head coach, come on. I'm taking that every day of the week. And he took the Bears to a Super Bowl, So, look, I would love that. Zimmer, for years he's had some really good defenses that he's coached up and been a part of. And I think that says a lot. Caslin143 says, if I could pick anyone, it would be the best defensive coordinator in history, Wade Phillips. When you look up the DC genius in the book, a picture of Wade is there. Again, would have no problem with Wade Phillips. I don't know. He's probably like 80-something years old now at this point.
Right?
He's retired now, but again, but that's Caslin. You're on to the point that I want. A former veteran, preferably a former head coach, but somebody that McDaniel can lean on, not only on the defensive side and say, hey, go do your thing on defense, but somebody that can help him make the best decisions during the game, help him, after the game, somebody that can go to McDaniel and say, you effed up, and here's how you effed up, and let me tell you why. And he's not going to take anything from it because it's a mentor. It's somebody that he can learn from right there in the moment on the job. Give me a veteran former head coach. That's what I want. That's the dream. That's the dream. Anthony says, Steven, do we have the personnel to run a 4-3 defense? I'll let you take that.
Why not? Sure. I mean, absolutely. I mean, you got two guys in the middle rotating with a third or a fourth. If you look at, Wilkins, Sealer, Jenkins, if they retain him, I think he's a free agent maybe. But you also have Raekwon Davis. You got your edge guys who could be, Agba, Phillips. Then you got your linebackers that could be Chubb, bring back Van Ginkel, and you need a middle linebacker. And that's understood. I am well aware that they need a middle linebacker. I'm talking east, west, north, south, hit you in the mouth, drop back into coverage. Was that Channing Tindall? I don't think so. We need a guy to coach up Channing Tindall. Put him in the mix. But I think they absolutely have the personnel to do it.
I look at, okay, if we bring in one of these veteran defensive coordinators in, and they like to run a totally different style offense than what we've run over the last few years, what does that say for our, certain personnel that's here? Two things I want people to understand. Number one, if you bring in a different, you bring in a defense coordinator that wants to change the scheme or the style type of defense that we run, don't fret, don't fear, because again, that person knows what they're doing and understands how. Now, does that mean maybe we see a different overhaul of maybe some personnel on defense? Maybe it does. But for the most part, again, you gotta love a defensive coordinator coming in and saying, hey, look, you got Zach Seiler, you got Christian Wilkins, you got Jalen Phillips, all on the defensive line. Imagine what you can do with that, right? And then from a linebacking standpoint, I think that needs to be, you got Jerome Baker or Landon Roberts, Van Ginkel. I get that. But in a secondary, you go, hey, look, we're going to, get rid of some people, but you got a couple of young guys along with a veteran and X to go along with, Trill Williams and Cater Kahoo. I feel like most defensive coordinators would be salivating to be like, I can work with this. Bring me a couple of other veteran free agents, maybe take somebody young in the draft. I can coach up what you might currently have here, but I can work with what you got. I think most defensive coordinators would be and then, by the way, I totally didn't mention Javon Holland, right? So I think most defensive coordinators, no matter what type of style defense they're going to play, they're going to salivate to be like, I get to work with this. This is the canvas you're giving me to paint on? Of course. Yes. So I think most defensive coordinators we are a very attractive defensive coordinator job. I mean, I think we go to the top of every favorites list. The personnel's there. The weather's great. The taxes are good in Florida. What makes you not think the Dolphins' job is very attractive at the defensive coordinator? By the way, you have a young offensive guru. You have one of the most explosive offenses. You're able to have that. When things are clicking, come on, this team at any moment in time can turn on the faucet and it start running. And my hope is that happens again next year, but neither here or there. I think that's kind of where we're at. Do you agree with that, Jason?
1,000%. I mean, if they, like I said, like you said, you put it perfectly. If they bring in that veteran coach, it's like Picasso being handed a canvas with the best paint in the world. He's gonna put something great together.
100%. So here's the thing. What do the Dolphins do from here? What is the interview process like? Do you think that by letting Boyer go after waiting a week that they might already have the guy they want in the back of their mind? By the way, I think that is the case. I just don't know who it is, honestly. But do you think that they're just going to bring in, 10, 15 people and they're could do process of elimination.
The only reason I'm going to say I really don't know what this process is going to be like is because we have no historical what happened last time in the situation with McDaniel. Because last year he was brought in to start his tenure, but now he's got the year to reflect the conversations that he's going to have, what he did, what he learned from, and now we have to see who's going to be attracted to him from the body of work that he's put out. So there's a lot of things going in right now that there's not been any data on for me to kind of guess what the process is going to be. Hence, 3 days until we heard information about any types of firing on coordinators, when theoretically, if they did it Monday, maybe Jim Schwartz could have been in the mix. Maybe he was never a contender. Was there a time situation that prevented him from even being considered? I don't know. But right now, let's see. It will be interesting to me how McDaniel handles this process now from here on out. Because the dominoes are going to fall. You just can't let all of them fall and have one left and be like, all right, now we're in trouble. So
I think no, I agree. I think that's definitely the case. I'm going through Twitter right now, and I think the consensus is from the national media, from local people that cover the team, from other content creators, is that the Dolphins defensive coordinator job is the most attractive job in the NFL right now. Maybe even over certain head coaching jobs. And that I say that, and I want to make the point of somebody said, well, wouldn't Fangio wants to be a head coach? Well, maybe look at the head coaching opportunities, and he might say, well, I'm not in love with any of these opportunities. And the defensive coordinator job in Miami is almost too good to pass up. Do you think that if you look, is there a world where maybe a head coach or a potential head coach is saying, I'd rather be the defensive coordinator in Miami with everything they have over being a head coach in Carolina?
Absolutely. I mean, look, it all depends. That's why interviews are a two-way street. For a candidate to be attracted to this job, there could be a candidate who has no desire to be a head coach because he's been there, done that, maybe wants a little bit of stress, stupid little thing, maybe wants a little bit more time with family, maybe wants a little bit more time at life, done 25, 30 years of the grind, but still has that hunger to be a coordinator. Did the head coach thing? Maybe not in his mindset, I can't guarantee that's the case for Vic Fangio because I've heard that, yes, he does probably want to have a head coaching job in the future. But a guy like a Mike Zimmer who might just want to get back in the show, why not?
Why not? Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. It is Spread Kindness Friday. It is Clock Blockers, the #1 Miami fan morning show. Want to remind you all, hit the like button, donate to the channel, help the channel grow. And we are having our Super Bowl box pool. I even updated it. We got William Perry already in here, Big Dougie B. The buy-in is $50 per box. The payouts are in the top left there that you can see. End of the first, end of the second, end of the third, final score. However you paid your money is how you'll get your winnings if you win. There's only 2 ways to send payment: on Cash App, $ MSM Podcast Network, and PayPal, MSM Podcast Network. After you send your money on Cash App and PayPal, by the way, when you do that, make sure you send your name in with the message in the payment. Make sure you send your names and numbers to vpmiamisportsmusic@gmail.com. And just a friendly reminder, don't put like box pool or anything like that in Cash App or PayPal because I don't want to get shut down by Cash App or PayPal. Just put your numbers and your name. That's all you need to do when you send the money. And then in an email, the vpmiamisportsmusic@gmail.com, send your names and numbers and how you sent the money. So that way I can just have a good track record of it. But yeah, there's 100 boxes there. Get in where you fit in. After the boxes are filled up, we'll draw the numbers on the side, the AFC team, the NFC team, and then we'll have a good time watching the Super Bowl on February 12th, and we'll see who wins. It'll be a lot of fun. So make sure you do that. It's a great opportunity for Miami Sports Music Podcast Network to raise money for the channel, and an opportunity for you, the fans, to win a little bit of money back and have some fun while watching the game. All right, let's see here. Caslin143 says Wade Phillips is a head coach in the XFL, so he is still going.
You know what? I'm actually kind of sidebar. I'm a little excited to see what they put on the field. This product, the XFL Part 2.
Well, they're affiliated with the NFL now.
Right.
They're going to they have a relationship with the NFL. I'd have to do more research, but somebody told me practice squad players would be allowed to play in the XFL. I don't know if that's true or not. I want to do more research to confirm that or not. But I think they should be allowed to play in the XFL, these practice squad players. Allow them to get more opportunity on the field, playing time, reps. Let's just talk about it real quick. Why have other leagues, in baseball you have, minor leagues. You have single A, triple A, double A. NHL, you have the AHL and ECL or EHL, Eastern Hockey League and American Hockey League. And then in basketball, you have the G League, whatever it's called now. And you also have overseas playing too. That's pretty big for other players. Why does the NFL not able to have an alternative league to them or a minor league system? Why is just that never worked?
I mean, it's like the minor league system essentially, for better or for worse, is basically college. But really what the XFL could hopefully do is be that developmental league. Like I had a friend who was, years and years ago, went to Harvard, and he was a practice squad player. He went up to like 3 or 4 different practice squads, and after he just couldn't break in, he was let go. It was heartbreaking. But he went to NFL Europe, which was a thing. He did a couple of other, things. So there were obscurities, but now I feel like health, you can't have so many situations where these players could be bouncing around from practice squad league this to practice with the NFL just to get some games under their belt. I don't know. It's a lot of gray areas, but I do hope that the XFL can, in a way, be that, farm system for the NFL, or give players the opportunity to kind of work their way back up in some way, shape, or form.
I have always said this. I think the reason that, minor leagues or alternative leagues for football have never worked out. I agree with the statement of that college football obviously is the minor league system, if you will, the developmental league for these young athletes. But the reason that there's no in between college football and the NFL is this sport is a lot of money. The insurance, the medical cost, everything it costs a lot. It costs a hell of a lot. I think that's why you saw the Canadian Football League work as well as it did, because it was in an alternative country, and you were able to build up its own fan base by having those hometown allegiances, the Edmonton Eskimos and the Toronto Argonauts, and all those teams, players from those cities were able to have a connection there with them and build up over time, and had their own national TV audiences, and changed the game a little bit too, right? 110 yards and man in motion and wider everything, right? Wider end zones,
whatever it is.
And so they made it a little bit more run and gun, a little bit funner. And I think the NFL's adopted some of the things from the CFL over the years, or at least the type of style play that it's been, because there have been some good stuff. But ultimately, I think that the closest that anybody ever came to it was the USFL back in the day. And the reason that they never is they tried to compete with the NFL,
right?
Rather than just bring their own spring league. And I think that that's where people need to realize, if you want to see any semi-success, it needs to be a spring league, and it needs to be a shortened season of 8 to 10 weeks. And it just needs to be very competitive in something. And I think that the NFL knows that. I think that the XFL knows that, with Dwayne Johnson running that. And my hope of what I see out of the XFL over these next 10 weeks, I think they start in like 2 weeks, if I'm correct, or 3 weeks, right after the Super Bowl, I think, is I hope that they and the USFL, by the way, is getting a season 2. So the USFL and the XFL are both going to be playing this year. So 2 leagues. Although if they were smart, they would combine and just work together. But
that's
if they want to see long-term success, I don't know if you can have the odds of 2 long-term outdoor leagues being successful are slim to none.
Right.
You combine them, maybe you got something. You You have established teams in both of the leagues that I think people like, and I think that would work. The other thing, I think the reason that there's a second league in the second year in the USFL is they played the entire first year in Birmingham, Alabama. And now this year they're playing on 4 sites. So they're gradually building, so they build up their fan base and their audience. They're cutting down on travel costs. They're providing lodging for these players. The salaries are, I think some guys are making 10 or 20,000 for the season, and some other people are making 100,000, 70 to 100,000 of the season. And so the players' salaries, I think, are another reason too. So just as far as alternative leagues are concerned, I am excited to see what happens out of the XFL for no other reason than I just want to see if there's a diamond in the rough, right? Cameron Wake went to the CFL. He was a star in the CFL. And then the Dolphins obviously caught on, and he became here and became one of the best Dolphins, in Dolphin history, in my opinion. I think he's a top 50 player all time of Miami Dolphins history, Cameron
100%.
Wake.
100%.
So there are diamonds in the rough. It's just a matter of where they're at. But to the initial standpoint, Wade Phillips, I think it says a lot about Wade Phillips because he likes to coach people, and he likes people that are coachable. And when you get these guys in these developmental leagues or these other leagues, is they want to be coached. They are willing to listen. You get guys in the NFL, you start dealing with more personalities and players that are making millions of dollars compared to thousands of dollars. And I think that changes the perspective on how a player listens or moves forward.
Former Dolphin Terrell Buckley is coaching the Orlando franchise. So that's,
yes, he is.
That's something fun to watch. For a couple of really good big names. Yeah, Rod Woodson coaching, obviously Wade Phillips. So, yeah, I really do hope this league succeeds. Really do.
We'll have to see what happens. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. I'm going to open up the lines. I'm going to bring you all on one at a time. Y'all can sit and ask Jason and I anything y'all want. And definitely want to hear from you. We want to get your thoughts about what you all think about the defense coordinator position, what you all think about Boyer being fired, what you all think about Danny Crossman being retained at the moment, as at least for right now, as the special teams coordinator, and just what you think of everything that's going on so far. So I dropped the link. I'm going to pin it to the top of the page. Get on. I want to hear from you. Jason and I will take your calls. And that's Clock Blockers. All right, we'll bring on our first person. Tony, good morning, Tony.
Hi, Stephen. Hi, Jason. How are you guys today?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. Jason and Stephen, you guys were talking about bringing a veteran former head coach as the DC. Why not, instead of doing that, bringing a veteran former head coach as the offensive coordinator that runs the same offense as McDaniel?
Look, McDaniel is, this is his offense. This is his offense to run.
That's what I'm saying. That runs the same offense that can coach him through these issues that he had this season with the time management and stuff like that. Why? All
right. So let me answer. Here's what I'll say, Tony. When you bring in, let's say they decided to bring in a former veteran head coach to run the offense that runs a very similar style offense to Mike McDaniel, or the same for that matter. The issue is when you get those guys in there and McDaniel and them are on 3rd down or 4th down, and McDaniel wants to run one play or the offense coordinator wants to run another, you're going to have 2 alpha males on the same side of the ball wanting to run 2 different things. It's a recipe for disaster, I think, at the end of the day. The other thing is McDaniel, for the most part, there have been some moments, and there have been a lot of moments. There have been some, not 100% of the time, where you just look and like, man, if he can bring this all together, it's going to be fun. So there's no need to bring in a veteran head coach, a former veteran coach, or a former veteran coordinator on the offensive side of the ball, because I like what McDaniel's trying to institute and instill down in Miami. And I think that where the need for it is obviously on the defensive side of the ball. And not only on the defensive side of the ball, it goes back into what I said earlier. And I think what your original question was, Tony, is, well, we can do that on the offensive side. I think it's better if you do it on the defensive side, because that defensive coach is going to have full autonomy to be able to run whatever defense he wants to run, and will also be able, because McDaniel will have handpicked him, to be able to go to McDaniel and say, hey man, you messed up on this play, and here's why. Let me tell you, this is my opinion. Do with what you want with it. And
You can do
McDaniel's
the
going to
same.
listen.
That's what I'm saying, Steven.
Tony, before anything, let me jump in here. I mean, look, it's a great question, and you make a solid point. I mean, Frank Smith right now is the offensive coordinator he was last year when he was brought in by McDaniel. I don't think he or really anyone on offense has done anything to lose their position, you know? So if there's continuity that you want to build, I was happy to see that a guy like a Darrell Bevel is turning down people because he wants to stay in that offense. Now, as far as I'm concerned and what we know,
he was getting offensive coordinator,
right.
Offers.
So you might have the grouping of McDaniel, Bevel, Frank Smith, and those offensive coordinators that are going to continue to ride next year.
And I'll do you one.
But you understand what I'm saying.
Hold on, Tony.
I understand the philosophy.
I'll do you one better. Darrell Bevel, I think, is going to get some play calling duties this coming up year. I think he might be calling some plays. I think I can't speak for McDaniel. I don't know enough about him. We've only seen 1 year of him. But I think every head coach eventually wants to just be a head coach and not call play. There are, I think, a handful of coaches that enjoy calling plays. But if you look at all those head coaches, for the most part, they're veteran head coaches, and they have a very good staff, their own staff, that they feel comfortable. I can call plays and have other people deal with the other things on the side of the ball.
Yeah, that's what hurts McDaniel, though.
We clearly saw McDaniel this year go to the sidelines on numerous occasions while the defense was on the ball and go to Boyer and say, you need to clean this shit up. Like, whatever you're doing is not working. And there's video of that, of him saying those exact words. So, you know, when you're calling plays on defense, we know a good offensive coordinator or play callers, when the quarterback comes off the field, they're sitting down, they're going over, they're reading the defense together. McDaniel can't do that because he's too worried about the special teams and the defensive side, and he has to pay attention, and he can't do that. And so I think that's another great reason why Darrell Bevel's being retained.
Steven and Jason, this is why I'm saying I understand why you guys want the veteran guy on the defensive side to run his own defense, but the way I look at it is, if I understand you guys don't, you think it's I disagree with you. I don't think it's going to be a recipe for disaster. For me, for McDaniel to become a true head coach, he needs to, instead of having guys on the staff that he's comfortable with and guys who are not going to, that's what I fear with the guy, not Darrell Bevel. He's a guy who has that can stand up to him. But I don't think guys like Frank Smith and the other guys are going to have the courage to stand up to a guy like McDaniel because they're his friends.
Right, so Tony, here's the thing. McDaniel is the head honcho. He is the end all be all. He is the alpha and omega. He is the
I know that.
The buck stops with him. Now, when I say I want somebody to lean on McDaniel or be able to correct him or challenge him, is not from the standpoint of play calling duties or how he should run the offense, or at least not entirely. Imagine having Lovie Smith in that building. Let's just play this out for an example. And in the third quarter, they run a timeout, or they're consistently going down to the play clock. Lovie Smith, in my opinion, or somebody like Lovie Smith, would be able to pull McDaniel to the side and say, I don't know what you're doing, but your priority needs to be clock management right now. And what you did on Sunday, that's going to lose us more games heading down the road. McDaniel didn't have that this year, which is why you consistently saw him make, the time management issues, the clock, the discipline issues, whatever. I think McDaniel there was so much to do and not enough experience on the coaching staff as well as the players in the building that I don't want to say, I'll say it. He had too much on his plate. And so we're asking McDaniel to pull off a miracle from a rookie head coach. I feel like bringing that on a defensive coordinator is great. I hear what you're saying, Tony. You're saying, hey, look, if you could do that on the defense, why wouldn't you do that on the offensive side? But the reality is the defensive coordinator in this situation is going to have full autonomy of the defense. It's not like McDaniel's going to come over and challenge him about the scheme that he's running. He's handpicking this guy because he trusts this guy about the defense he's running. He didn't trust Boyer. Boyer was forced upon him.
This is another question. How about bringing a consultant have the veteran defensive coordinator, but bring a consultant like we were originally going to have with Jim Caldwell, and he
Yes.
can help.
I like stuff like that too, and that goes to Jason's point a little bit ago with the Phil Jackson comment, right? Bringing on who was the guy? What's his name, Jason?
I mean, it was Tex Winter. He even brought him in with Chicago. I mean, he identified that if he wanted to run that offense perfect, he was going to go straight to the horse's mouth, and he hired the guy who invented it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
no, that's what I'm saying.
No, that I agree with. Tony, I love your points. And I think that
we're not disagreeing. And by the way, I don't know who that would be, by the way, or somebody that he trusts or does. But I mean, look, if he decides, I don't know if that, put it this way. I don't know if that's
I got a perfect, you know what's funny? There's a guy, but he's been out of the coaching game for a while. It's the guy who came up with the offense in Mike Shanahan. Bring Mike as his mentor from Denver as a consultant, and he can teach him.
I don't know if I'd want Mike Shanahan, but I hear you. You know, look, here's Tony. I understand what you're saying, and I'm gonna let you say one last thing before I let you go. But what I want to explain to you is McDaniel from the offensive standpoint is I think what he needs is to relegate responsibilities on other aspects of the team. Relegate, delegate, whatever. One of those gate words, as long as it's not Deflategate. One of those responsibilities to people that he trusts on the team. He did not trust Josh Boyer. He did not trust other defensive of coaching staff. And I think that when you're trying to get settled into a new job in your first year and you have all the eyes of the world watching you with one of the most explosive offenses in the NFL, and you're not being able to do that on a week in, week out basis for whatever the reasons are, you want to be able to have a comfort in some of the other aspects of how the team is run. And I think by him picking his own defensive coordinator and having that comfort, I think that he will make better decisions about other things on the offensive side of the ball, timeouts, time management, challenges, all of that. He'll be more comfortable moving.
And this is what I'm saying. For me, for a guy like McDaniel to become a great coach, you can't have everybody being your friend on your staff. Your friends are not going to stand up to you. That's what worries me about that. Having guys like Frank Smith and these guys like John Emery who were with him in San Francisco, they're not going to have the courage to stand up to him because they're his friends. That's what scares me about having all these friendly faces on the staff. They're not going to have the balls to stand up to on the side. That's what scares me about that.
Tony, I appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you so much for coming on and watching the show and supporting us, man. Thank you, buddy.
Okay, bye.
Look, to Tony's last point before I bring on the thing, I don't think you should have to worry about that. Look, that was one of the things that we worried with Flores, right? Nobody's there to challenge Flores. Flores had to be the head.
Right.
Yeah, that was the problem. I don't think that's the problem. At least personally, I don't see that being the problem here with McDaniel, right? McDaniel played ball. Greer told him, hey, you're going to get Boyer, and this is who you're going to, you want to be the head coach? Boyer's the guy that you're going to get. If it doesn't work out, we'll let you bring on your own guy next year. Right. And I think that was kind of told to him. And so for me, I think that that's what you see from the defensive side. And as far as Bevel's concerned, I think the reason Bevel stayed is obviously the comfort with McDaniel and everything, but I also think he's going to get more responsibility this year. And it was kind of probably he will get a bump in responsibility, pay, name. I think he'll be whatever, associate, assistant, head coach or whatever. He will get an upgrade in all those positions when it's all said and done. And I think Bevel will be the number 2 guy on offense behind McDaniel. And the more that happens, I think it'll be very interesting. All right, let me bring on the next guest, Todd. Good morning, Todd. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing this morning, Steve?
Pretty good, man. I'm just enjoying taking it all in, taking the news that we got yesterday about Boyer getting fired and how we move forward as a team. But what do you want to talk about, man? Floor is yours.
Man, I almost think if we do somehow get Vic Fangio, I almost think that Boyer was only kept until Fangio finished getting paid. I think they've wanted him from the get-go. And the only reason it wasn't Boyer being stuffed onto McDaniel, but the fact that you're not going to just hire somebody else and then get rid of him as soon as Fangio became available this year.
That's entirely plausible. That's not a far out theory. Look, the reality of the situation is the defense didn't warrant much changes from the coaching staff, from the head coaching change, right? You look at the defense the year prior, and they were one of the best defenses in the NFL at certain points, the year prior, and they did really good. So it's kind of tough to say, hey, look, to a new head coach, hey, things are going really good on defense. We're just going to keep things the way they are, but we want you to come in and just do whatever you want to do on offense.
Okay, I understand where you're coming from, but think about this. We all may wonder who was calling plays the year before. The players know. The people inside the building, they know who was calling defensive plays. If it was Boyer, if it was Alexander, if it was Flores, they know. So if they knew that Boyer wasn't going to be up to the task because he had his play calling duties taken away mid-season, you just hold him over for the 1 year until you get the guy you want, because they wanted Fangio bad last year.
And I don't think that theory's far off, man. I think that could be a very accurate statement that they wanted Fangio. And by the way, I think that Fangio, correct me if I'm wrong, was a finalist for our head coaching job.
Yes,
right?
He was.
So I think that they would have went with Fangio if they didn't. They knew that they wanted offense to be they needed the offense to be to come
They
in.
wanted an offensive guy.
And that's why McDaniel got the job over Fangio.
Correct.
Yeah.
But let me ask you. So here's the thing. Todd, let's play this out. Let's say that is the case. Is McDaniel again being forced to take a guy that he doesn't want because the ownership in front office?
I think McDaniel wanted Fangio from the beginning, because remember, Fangio is in San Francisco before he got there. He knows what Fangio can do on the defensive side, and Fangio has a proven track record on the defensive side. Another thing, you're bringing over Chubb. You make the trade for Chubb, who is one of Fangio's players in Denver, who flourished under his system.
12
so and then you got to look at what did Fangio have opposite Chubb in Denver? Von Miller. You look at Jason Phillips. I'm not saying he's Von Miller, but he's that prototype type of player Von Miller is. So you're looking at all these things coming up to where
Fangio, by the way, was part of Jim Harbaugh's staff at San Fran. He was never part of the one that.
Right, I agree, but I'm saying before McDaniel got there is what I said. You know what I mean? Before he came over with Shanahan, he knows what the deep. And you got, what else do you have to have in a Fangio defense? You have to have a strong safety, a good safety. You look at Simmons. You look at some of the safeties. We got that with Holland. Now, the only thing we're missing is that.
All right, real quick, Todd. Nobody's sitting here arguing. I just want to state for the record, nobody's sitting here arguing that Fangio shouldn't be one of the main guys that they consider. I just want what I want to discuss on a bigger detail is if your theory is correct. That's not. I don't think that would be that. Then to me, that says Greer and Ross said they want Fangio to be their defensive coordinator more than McDaniel does. Or do you get what I'm saying? Like, is that what this is? And again, is McDaniel being force-fed a defensive coordinator again?
I don't know. I don't think that would be. I think that would also be when they talked, that's what they came up with.
I think there's
Remember,
a mix.
Yeah.
Sorry, I had to jump in. I think like right now,
Go ahead.
Mix. I think, and this is speculative based on just whatever, maybe there's a list of 5 names that the Dolphins brass are going to hand to McDaniel and say, of this list, bring him in, have at it. I'm not guaranteeing that, but
I don't like that either, by the way.
They're going to allow him to have massive say, if not the say. But I'm really sure that there's input. But Your theory is interesting. I'll give you your theory, but I just do think
Your theory is making me think. I'm not saying it's valid. I'm not saying it's a very interesting one.
It's just something I've been thinking about lately because Vangio wanted to collect that last bit of money last year. He didn't go coach anywhere.
Well, that's why some people are saying Lovie Smith's not the guy because he's going to get $13 million this year from Houston or something like that.
Yeah.
So why would Lovie Smith come and take that when he can sit at home for $13 million?
The only other name I really am high on is Mike Zimmer, but he's up in Colorado right now with Dion.
Oh, really?
Oh, did Zimmer take Colorado's job?
Yeah, he's the defensive coordinator in Colorado, I think, from what I've heard.
Who knows what Dion's doing these days? It's great. Every day he's doing something.
Yeah, but that's the only other person I would want over Vangio, right? Or not over Vangio, but right under Vangio. Those two, and then it's a separation between number 3 down the list. You know what I mean?
So he's not official on Colorado State's coaching staff. He was an analyst. He was a special analyst last year for Jackson State with Deion Sanders. But man, he's another name that I think I would love right now. Now, here's the thing, Todd. I believe last year in the coaching staff interviews, Fangio was a finalist. Here's where your theory is a very interesting conversation. Because the one thing I talked about this entire time was, hey, look, you're going to be forced upon to have Boyer, and do you want to work with Tua? And he throws his hand. He said, yeah, I'll work with Tua. You can give me the coaching staff. If it doesn't work out, I just want to be able to say my piece. I wonder if in that same conversation 12 months ago was the conversation between Greer, Ross, and McDaniel saying, hey, look, if this doesn't work out, what do you think about Fangio being your defensive coordinator? Now, this is a very crazy theory to talk about, that they were talking about another defensive coordinator the year prior. I don't know how true that may or may not be, but I want to play your theory out just a little bit more extreme and say maybe the conversation all along was that if it doesn't work out, McDaniel already pre-agreed during the conversations prior to him being a head coach that, hey, look, if Boyer doesn't work out, bring in Fangio. I'll be more than happy to have Fangio as my defensive coordinator. That's another interesting theory.
I buy that because, as I mentioned earlier in the show, they'll have contingencies. And when you're a football organization, you might not necessarily plan for the next year. You got to maybe plan out 2, 3, 4, 5 years with your thought process and have your outs and your backups. So very possibly when the conversations were getting into the finalization of McDaniel.
The only thing I remember, though, from when McDaniel became on that was really weird for me with what he said was, you never know. This defense might take a step back, but the offense is going to go up. So obviously, I don't know if he had total confidence in Boyer from the get-go or something was going on.
You can tell on the sidelines. You can tell when you could just tell he didn't. Go ahead, Jason.
There also was, and again, I just I don't want to create the drama here, but it's just the fact of the matter. In a lot of cases, a lot of these defensive backs were upset with the lack of a certain coordinator on that staff, and even as early as recently, I should say, as these interviews, it was said there were questions asked. This is I was told. Someone say something about said, right, but someone point blank was asked maybe 36, 72 hours ago, hey, what was missing? Yeah, GA.
Jared Alexander. Interesting.
But from what I heard, X even made the comment about, when I was actually put in a position to make plays, I made plays.
And to go into to go back, I'm sorry if it wasn't you, Todd, if it was you, if it was someone else last season when the play calling duties, there was a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Of course, there was a time when Gerald Alexander was on the sideline, and then he went
to the booth.
Correct. And that time coincided with a differentiation in the amount of blitzes timely by people. Not by defenses, not by sending 9, by sending 2 exotically and disguising them. So there was a differentiation in play calling and philosophy. But
And by the way, I think it's fair to bring up those points because, again, I don't want to beat a dead horse about the prior coaching regime.
right.
But how did Boyer's defense compare to the year's prior defenses when Flores was the head coach? And what were the two biggest defenses?
Go into what Jason Sarney just said. When Boyer goes into that cover zero, you notice all of them come to that. All of them are going in.
No bueno.
The years before, you'd see half go in, half back out.
Correct.
You'd see defensive tackles dropping back into coverage. Yeah, they wouldn't know which side is coming from. It was so disguised.
I called them exotics.
Yeah.
And that was like, when you had all of a sudden your strong safety or your free safety creep up and then come at you like a freaking torpedo, but then lo and behold, there's still 4 defensive backs right there with a linebacker who could tip the ball. That's what we saw last year. That's what we saw. Nick Needham got his touchdown on a pressure tipped by Van Ginkel. He took it to the house. This defense was a cohesive unit last year, and it wasn't blitzing everyone in the house. It was timely, exotic blitzing.
Methodical. It was methodical.
And yes, it was very much predicated on the fact they had Xavier Howard and Byron Jones doing their jobs, which is top notch. Now they can't have that, so they're philosophically going to have to change so you could burn the zero blitz or the Flores blueprint. It's over. And that's why Boyer's not here anymore. Now.
Yeah, but even still, Boyer sent everybody. There was nobody dropping back.
Right, because there was no strategy. There was no exotic creativity. It was, all right,
exactly.
Blitz. All right, blitz. 3rd and 15. You know what? They'll only get 12. Everybody, slough.
Why do you think you see how Josh Allen was able to get those deep passes off? That wouldn't have happened back then because you didn't know who was back in the coverage.
Of course not. You're right.
All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. The link is pinned to the top of the page. I got myself, Jason Sarney, here. We're having a good show this morning here on Spread Kindness Friday. Todd, any final words before I let you go and bring on the next person?
Hey, don't make it just Friday to spread kindness. I did mine the other day. Everybody has to do something.
No doubt, man. I totally agree, man. Appreciate it, Todd. Love you, brother.
Not a problem.
Good stuff, Todd. Have a good weekend.
All right, just want to remind you all, only 40 likes. Hit the like button. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything to hit the like button. Hit the like button. And if you are not subscribed to the channel, please go to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Trying to get our people up. We want to hit 10,500 by the Super Bowl. 10,500 by the Super Bowl. Would love to do that. So hit the like button if you haven't done so already. There's over 80 people watching. Only 43 likes. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. All right, let me bring on our next guest, Robert. Good morning, Robert. How are you?
What's up, boys?
How are you, man? Good to hear from you.
I'm doing well. Friggin' so I guess the Bosa brothers ate because another person's no longer here.
Oh. Go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
Yeah, I'm happy to see Boyer gone. Like, that was a big thing I wanted this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
Boyer gone. So I'm good with that one.
Do you think it'll make a night and day difference on how this defense looks going into next year?
I think the defense is going to look different next year, period. Jason hit on it earlier. To rely on 2 shutdown corners is 1, incredibly expensive, 2, not sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how the defense is predicated. Then you tack on your 20 yards off on coverage because that's the way Boyer called the defense. You literally have individuals sitting in the damn end zone on a 3rd and 17.
Against the best check down running back receiver in the league.
Yeah. Like, why? What are you thinking? Just... We played scared on defense. We didn't play to win. We played super tentative. And our timing was bad on everything. And we're just washed up in some spots. Like, X isn't a shutdown corner anymore. He's not a #1 corner, in my opinion. I don't know if he ever
No,
was.
well. I don't
He's
know if that's fair.
number one.
Look,
He's a low-end number
for a
one instead
5-year
of a
stretch,
top
he
five,
led
you
the
know?
NFL in interceptions and knockdown passes, right?
Still by one. He still leads by one.
All right. So even after having an off year from a 5-year stretch, that's how much he was in the lead, right? He was so far in the league. So
But here's
X
my
was elite for a while. The man was straight elite.
here's my pushback. I can't go get a time machine and take the X from that time period and bring him forward. So I don't give a crap about that. I care about what he is now.
Let me tell you, if X is 75% of the 2-3 years ago X, he's still the 16th best cornerback in the league.
Okay.
At what he showed us the last couple of weeks in the season, he came on strong. Yeah, he had a couple of plays that he gave up, but he ended that jet game.
I disagree with that, Jason. I don't think X can be an every down defensive player anymore.
His best days are behind him. I'll tell you that. I agree with you there.
Yeah, I think
I love him. I want to see him stay another year, but what I want to see him do is be selfless and take a pay cut and not hamstring this team going forward and be a leader to these younger guys, Cater Kahoo, Trill Williams in the locker room. And if he's willing to do that, then I would say I'd never had one issue ever, one iota with X ever asking for more money, because when he played down, he gave back to the team and made it. And I think that's how we should look at X. And if X, now I will say this in X's defense, if he decides, no, I want to keep my money, I earned it from my time previous, that's a fair statement too, but we got to figure out a way to get his numbers off the books, and so he's not hamstringing us. And my hope is that he wants to win and sees how valuable by releasing some of that money from his contract to be able to go out and get other people. I think that would be a good thing. And by the way, there's no reason for me to think that's not going to happen, because Chris Greer is a genius mastermind when it comes to the salary cap and
give
maneuvering
Brandon
money.
Shore that credit too. Those two, when they work together to get numbers,
yeah,
they'll figure it out, man. And that could happen. That could very well happen, because if you're looking at what they need to do contractually to open things up for the future, you really should extend and re-sign.
Is there any other GM in the NFL you would want in a salary cap bad situation like this?
No, we're good, because
you wouldn't. There's no other GM you'd want.
You want them to do what they were doing and continue doing with setting the table, clearing up space, getting those picks. Now, a lot of those picks that they used on drafted mistakes, that's conversation for another day. But putting them in position to make those picks, clearing cap space, signing contracts to guys. There's 31 free agents this year, but a lot of the free agents from last year were signed with outs. So they could say, all right, you know what, let's go a different way. So they're not going to be so strong, because they had a lot of good contracts that they signed with free agents and re-signees last year.
So it'll be interesting when it gets to that, though. I mean, because we can say he's absolutely missed on some draft picks.
Oh, yeah.
But then you have contracts that you signed this year, too, where I don't necessarily think they're bad pickups, but you get really split decisions on it, like Chubb, Emmanuel Ogbah. I'm hoping that was just injuries. If not, that was a problematic deal. But like those are the two big ones that stick in my mind. Tyreek Hill, paid him $30 million. Guy got almost 1,800 yards, quite a few TDs, and played a hell of a game. I have no regrets with that. I think the only one I significantly regret is Chase Edmonds.
Well, yeah. I mean, they cut their loss early on that.
Yeah.
And by the way, I don't think X would have been you would have seen his deficiencies as much with a healthy secondary. Stephen Bravo just pointed that X is going to be all right with a little bit more help. I think if Trill Williams had been healthy this year, and we would have seen the healthy secondary, we would have seen need him. We wouldn't have seen as big of a drop off from X as we saw, because he wouldn't have been exposed as that much. He wouldn't have been asked to do as much, which is why my thought is, yes, X dropped off. Yes, the Dolphins could play this in their I hope could play this to their best use. Hey, look, you dropped off. Take a pay cut. You asked for money when you did good. We want to ask for money back when you do bad. If that's how you wanted to play this game for the last 3 years, let's play it like that. And I don't. And my hope is that X wouldn't be offended by that. Like it should be. You're right. I played it when I was good to my advantage, and when I'm bad, you guys have every right to play it by yours. And my hope is that I can help the team move forward. That's what I hope.
I agree with that, and I hope that happens because if you really look at what a healthy secondary next year could be, let's call it like this. Let's call it Xavier Howard, Kader Kohu on the outside. You got Nick Needham in the slot. I think he is going to come back. I'm confident about that.
Needham's already alluded to that.
Oh, 100%. I mean, look. To that. Perfect world. Dolphins give him the money he wants. He comes back. There's going to be other suitors, so hopefully it's not blowing him out of the water. The Dolphins wise.
Needham wants to stay in Miami.
Correct.
He already said the Dolphins did. Go ahead with your point. Go ahead with your full point. Yeah.
90% confident. But we got the two safeties, Javon Holland, Brandon Jones, and then you got guys like, Keon Crossing, Trill Williams, Veron McKinley. You got some nice depth healthy. So they can.
You don't have to go out and get anybody.
You don't.
You don't have to really go out and get anybody. As long as these people stay healthy, your secondary is going to look good.
Tell you who you draft in the third round. Second round, I'd like an interior lineman or a linebacker. But in the third round, who do you draft? X's replacement or someone who could learn from X, because then you're building a young secondary where 4 out of the 5 main components there are kind of young veterans. Because remember, we're like 23, 24.
Well, we were hoping Noah Igbenogany was going to be that guy, and that just didn't work out. Well,
let's just cut our ties.
Let's call a loss, and that was a straight L.
We'll always have the Pittsburgh end, and that
we'll always have the Pittsburgh end. Thank you.
I'm not defending Noah, but we can't cut Noah this year, can we? He still has.
Oh, yes, the hell we can. Let me tell you something. I'm about to get on my soapbox. Oh, my God. If for any reason Noah Igbenogany is a Miami Dolphin next year, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose it. That man better not even sniff the football field as a Miami Dolphin. If he's anywhere near the building, I am 100% what are y'all doing? Get that man away.
The $2 million, $2.5
Who
million.
cares?
Oh, okay. Who cares about $2.5 million?
Yeah.
Thank you for the Pittsburgh game, but that's it.
Pretty much. It was a $2.5 million dead cap interception on a nationally televised.
That man did one good thing his entire 3 years here. Shut that shit up. Get him out of here.
I'm not defending him. I'm not saying I want him to stay. I just thought he had like a $12 million cap hit if he was.
That man better not ever come close to a Dolphins uniform again.
This year, if they caught him this year, it would have been double. It would have been $5 million, I believe. Now it's like 2.3, 2.4.
Boy, you got me.
Whatever.
Dude,
get him gone.
Just the thought of that got me. All right, I'm gonna calm down.
Steven,
a lot of money
we haven't
coming
even
off
started anything yet.
A lot of money.
Like you don't have the craziness. You don't have people up here talking about quarterbacks like their ex-girlfriends that ditched them.
No, it's Noah for me. It's Noah for me. Noah, no Benogany. Okay.
So Noah is your boo that's got your number.
I can't. Hey, look, I don't know him as a person. I'm sure he's a great guy. I'm sure he's a great person. I'm sure he's a great individual. But if that man plays in a Dolphins uniform next year, I'm going to lose my freaking mind.
All right,
why?
So, hold up. I have to ask Jason a question.
Sure.
He sounds like a jilted lover, doesn't he?
No.
I mean, he's bad. Noah's bad.
Noah hit a nerve.
Oh, man.
Noah does strike a nerve with me because you know why? It's not even him. Because I know he's bad. It's the Dolphins for allowing him to stay here when he doesn't even dress. And even when he does, he doesn't see the field for the most part. And the only reason he ever does is because we're injury depleted. That's the only reason he played in that Pittsburgh game. Because there was nobody else to play.
It was a nice interception. It really was.
It was a bad throw by
he got his feet
Kenny
down.
Pickett, a rookie quarterback.
I mean, you have to. He may have got lucky, but he made a hell of a play to get lucky. And yes, that is the only play he has made.
I was there. I was in the end zone. I was 11 rows from the field. I was sitting next to my beautiful wife and her and my sister-in-law, who is a Steelers fan, and it was beautiful. I was there. It was awesome. Don't ever want to see Noah Igbenogany in a Dolphins uniform again. Point blank.
Yeah, I have a friend who's a Steelers fan. Made him burn a terrible towel off a bet. Watch him cry. It was great.
There you go. There's a win. There's a win right there.
All right. Anything else, Robert, before I let you go now that you got me all riled up?
On that note,
I can't stand you came up here and riled me up about Noah Igbenogany.
I haven't even started, man.
Trash. Just trash. Okay.
Yeah. Like,
File 13. Put him in the bed.
I'm
Retire him.
excited that we're getting a new DC. I didn't believe in Boyer. X, I don't think he's the number one corner anymore, and I think the biggest issue we have on the defensive side is scheme. And it'll be interesting to see.
It will be very, very interesting to see, man. All right, Robert, I appreciate you coming on today and riling me up, man. Good job. Way to go.
Always.
You win today.
Have a good
You
weekend.
win.
I always win, Steven.
All right, love you, Robert. Be good, brother.
See ya, man.
All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami fan morning show, Clock Blockers, right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. We got a little bit more time up here today. We're keeping this party going. Jason Sarney, myself, Stephen D. We got some people in the back room we're going to be bringing on here in a minute, one by one. If you want to get in and you want to talk and rile me up the way Robert just did, you can just click the link at the top of the chat, the StreamYard link, and you can get on and rile me up the same way he did. I don't recommend it. I know it. Igbenogany definitely gets my blood going. Gets my blood pressure up. I can tell you that right now. I want to remind you all before we go on to the next guest. We're trying to raise money for the channel here, right? And we also want to give you a chance to win some money. Well, how do we do that? The Super Bowl box pool, Miami Sports Music. We are doing a Super Bowl block pool. There's already been a couple people to buy boxes. We want to fill this thing up. It's $50 per block. You send the names and numbers to VP at Miami Sports Music, and you send the payment to Cash App or PayPal. $ MSM Podcast Network or PayPal MSM Podcast Network. I'm going to drop the link in the chat below. Yeah, get your boxes. You can buy as many boxes as you want. You see over here at the left, top left, you'll see the payouts there. This is for the Super Bowl. Okay, there's 100 boxes. We want to fill them all up. And you know, a lot of the people are like, well, you know, Miami Sports Music taking a big purse there. Let me tell you, it's going back into the channel. There's a lot of new equipment that we need to buy here and a lot of things for next year that we need to buy going forward with live streams. So we're just trying to raise money for the channel and also give you an opportunity to win some money back. We think this is a great opportunity. $50 a box. Send the money and names to Cash App, PayPal. Don't put box pool in the Cash App or PayPal message. Okay, don't do that. It hurts. So make sure y'all do that. Definitely want to get these boxes filled up. All right, we'll go on to the next guest, Caslin. Good morning, Caslin.
Morning, Kaz.
Good morning. How are you guys this morning?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
I just had to pay $5,000 out, so not that good. But
oh man, whoa! It wasn't me. I didn't do it. It wasn't me, Kaz.
I hope the legs are okay. No broken bones or anything.
No broken bones or anything, right?
Nah, it's all right. It comes to the territory.
I've been there, man. I've been there.
What are we talking about today?
I like Evero, like I said before. To me, he fits the perfect thing that I'm looking for. He's learned from probably 3 of the best coaches right now. I mean, McCarthy, you could take yes, no, that he's a good coach or not, whatever. He still led. You know, he's got the Dallas in the playoffs, and he led Green Bay to too. So, but he had Fangio who was there with them for a couple of years, and he was part of the McVay system. So, and McVay's a damn good coach.
McVay's a great coach.
And what he did with that defense, even though they were on the field more than anybody else, any other defense, he still had them ranked pretty damn high in the stats. So I like the dude. I think he's worthy of looking at. And I don't know if he's going to be a free agent or not, because whoever takes the Denver job, they might want to bring in their own stuff, and he won't be there. And I know everybody's saying Sean Payton's probably going to go there. I don't know, because Sean Payton does want Fangio. Sean Payton's already made it clear that he wants Fangio with him. And if he goes with them, it's going to be a lot less of a headache to rebuild with those 2 guys on the team, But,
it's kind of funny to me that hasn't come to fruition yet. Like all the head coaching positions that would be available, I think, are at this point. I'm very surprised that the trigger hasn't been pulled for Peyton yet by a team so that they can bring in certain play. I sit here and talk about the Dolphins not making a move earlier to get rid of their defensive coordinator, but the reality is they could wait because nobody else was making moves for the most part, right? Schwartz did get, I think maybe that, hey, Schwartz got signed by Cleveland. Okay, let's go ahead and make a move, but and maybe he was never on their list of defensive coordinators, but the Fangio thing is interesting, right? Because he did, obviously have an interview with Stephen Ross and Chris Greer and was potential going to be the head coach down here in Miami before he was down as a finalist along with McDaniel. And now we kind of look at it. Could he become the defense coordinator here? But he is being linked to Sean Payton, who has been given full permission to talk to whoever teams he wants to. The asking price from what I heard is 1 first-round pick for him. For Sean Payton. So, I mean, look, it's interesting. Is Fangio just waiting for Payton to pull the trigger? I don't know. It's an interesting point.
Denver, I mean, is Fangio going to say, all right, they fired me, I'm going to go back? So there's interest.
That's why I don't think Fangio's not going back to be the defensive coordinator where they fired him as the head coach. I don't see that happening.
It's different owners now, though. So that's the only thing that good
point.
Well, there is precedent for it. Who's the guy who used to coach the Raiders?
Gruden?
No. He came back to the coaching staff as a Raiders assistant after being a head coach there. Cannot think of his name for the life of me.
I'm drawing a blank too.
Hold on, I'll go through the Raiders. Yeah. Go, keep going. I'll look it up.
But I mean, they're linking Sean Payton with the Texas job, the Texans. So
someone just said Art Shell. Alexander Rene Diaz, Art Shell.
It might have been Art Shell. Yeah, Art Shell.
Well done, Alexander. Thank you.
Tom Cahill.
Art Shell was the head coach from 89 to 94, if I'm correct, and then came back when it was for the Raiders in 2000. Or no, he was hold on, was he? Was he the Raiders head coach in 06? He was the Raiders head coach in 06. And he was the Raiders head coach in 89 to 94. He was the Raider head coach in 06. And I want to say he was even part of the Raiders coaching staff at one point after his 06 tenure, if I'm correct. So, that's so to the fact of your Caslin's point, there is precedent for a head coach to come back to his team where he used to be a head coach. And Caslin's right. New owners, new regime, it is possible. But what's his face is still there. John Elway, isn't he? Isn't Elway still there?
I believe so.
Yeah, so I don't know.
And the other thing that I don't see Payton going there, yes, they have Russell Wilson, and I know he'll be able to work with Russell Wilson. But I think if Payton wants to come in, I think he wants a clean slate. I think he wants to build a team the way he wants to build it and not be hampered by having people on the team that he just doesn't want to keep. And that's a big contract to deal with, Russell Wilson. So if he goes to a place like the Texans or even Carolina, I could see him doing really well there because the Texans will give him the keys to the kingdom. They already have a relationship with him, and they like him, and he likes them. So they used to practice together. They've had scrimmages with each other for the last how many years before he left. I could see him going there. But again, like I said, Ivero is probably the most intriguing. I mean, DeMarco Ryans is probably going to get a head coach job somewhere, and the 49ers are going to probably promote their defensive line coach because he's been there. He's part of the system too, and he's the next in line. So they'll probably move him to defensive coordinator. And so unless McDaniel wants to bring him in because they have that relationship.
McDaniel, whatever happens, I want McDaniel to have the final say. And if he doesn't, there's going to be an issue down the road eventually.
It would be great for him to say, this is how I see it. This is how I want it. I'm going to get this guy and we're going to bring him in. And it really would be interesting to see if there was the other theory of that kind of deal last year. You got Boyer now. If it doesn't work out, it's your show next year. So I really am very
Or if it
curious to
doesn't
see
work out, we're going to give you Vangio.
whatever I've learned. That's very specific. But let's see how it plays out. I really am curious to see how he does this interview process.
Either that, or they told him that they'll deal with the defensive line. His specific job is deal with only the offense because that's his specialty, and then they'll bring in somebody that will take care of the defense.
Let me ask you two a question. Why do you think we lost the playoff game? If you had to break it down to one thing.
Game planning, time management, that encompasses clock, time, play calling. So nerves, yeah, if you want to lump it into what then maybe rookie nerves as a head coach. I mean, he didn't lose the game, but the game could have been won if they were able to get off a 4th and 1 play. But it wasn't like that was the only play where, oh my God, they're snap the ball. They're going to have a delay of game. Why is it taking so long to communicate the plays? Why is there issues with getting this from A to B on a communication sense? So yes, I think that it was a rookie coaching communication thing to work on. But ultimately, they lost the game because they were injury riddled in the 3rd-string rookie quarterback.
Yeah,
but
I think
they could have won.
I think a lot of it has to do with how badly the Bills played too.
I mean, look, what they did as a Dolphins team and a coaching staff, they did an admirable job with a very limited deck. They caught the Bills in a position where they got some points off turnovers. The Dolphins.
By the way, I was thinking of Tom Cable. Tom Cable was the head coach for Oakland from 08 to 10, and then came back in 2018, 8 years later, as the offensive line head coach after being the head coach there. Yeah, so it wasn't Art Shell; it was Tom Cable. I knew it was a Raiders coach.
Good call.
Yeah. And by the way, Alex Diaz, the one who pointed that out for me.
Yes.
Thank you, Alex.
The other thing with that game is every time we played Buffalo this year, we could not stop Knox. Every game.
It's like the Dolphins been plagued by tight ends for forever.
Yeah, but that's the other thing. Like, we don't have anybody that can cover him. Like, he needs to be covered. So we would put cornerbacks on him. The dude's too big.
Right.
You can't put a cornerback on him.
So this is where you need that linebacker who can cover like a corner and hit like a defensive lineman. We don't have that.
Right. Well, that's
at all.
That's to be determined. You know, like I said, it all depends on who we bring in. And we can't really talk about personnel and who they're going to replace because we don't know what systems they're going to run. Mm-hmm. So they might run a 3-4. They might run a 4-3.
Is there somebody that you want, Caslin? Is there like a favorite that you want?
Yeah, Vero. I really do. I think that guy he's a real deal.
The only problem I have with that Caslin, he's a great defensive mind. He's got a Super Bowl under his belt. He's just so young. You know, he's a guy who's going to be gone in a year, 2 years, because he'll probably be a head coaching candidate. You know, I feel like I just want that guy who's, and I hate to cliche it, just get 5 years of retirement. You're coaching your defensive team until you really want to hang it up. Someone who's been there before, last phase of the career, but with decades of knowledge on the defensive side of the ball, not an up-and-comer this time.
I get what you're saying, but I mean, Vero he's a head coach. They're linking him right now with head coach.
1,000%. But I want a coordinator to be like, you know what, McDaniel, me and you and me, we got this window of 4 or 5 years. Let's put a couple of rings in our fingers. And then I'm going to go play golf 5 times a day. That's what I want. But I'm an idealist.
My only problem with Vero is when it comes here is we have Chubb. And Chubb didn't play that really well under him. So that's the only question I would have. So how is he going to play on the he's the same? Is he going to put the same system that he had over there here or what? I mean, that's just I don't know.
Remains to be seen.
And I don't know if Denver, whoever comes in, Denver head coach, they might just say, "Oh, we're going to keep him," but which would be a smart move. But again, I mean, if I was interviewing anybody, he'd be on
I tell people, with the exception of few scenarios, anybody who takes a head coaching position that doesn't get a chance to pick their own guys, it's a bad decision. It does not work out well. You have to be able to pick your own people. All right, Caslin, anything else before I let you go?
No, that's pretty much. I mean, don't want to talk about the other situation. So, but I mean, the other thing I said is I hope the Bills don't win the Super Bowl because I don't want Miami fans saying, "Oh, if we would have just won that game," thinking that we had a chance to go there. You know, just I don't want that. I don't
Well,
want to hear
two
it.
things. Number one, I don't think that they will. But if they do, to me, it actually would be like, holy cow, we went toe to toe with the Super Bowl champions. Like, we're not far off from having this thing figured out.
It's
And,
an odd, yeah. I'm with you there because this would
You
be
know?
a,
I don't
It
think
would
they're
be
going to
a-
win the league, and I don't see them getting past Cincinnati. But still, to that matter, if they did, it would be like, holy cow, we can go toe to toe with the best. Let's go.
it would be a badge of honor.
I still think Jacksonville's going to win it. So
Oh,
I said that earlier. I said my yesterday with Cameron. I said my Super Bowl prediction is Jacksonville versus San Fran.
I said it 2 weeks ago when I said whoever wins out of the Chargers Jacksonville game
You did say that they're gonna go all the way.
And the Chargers to their point was they've had way too many injuries all year. I mean, they had a higher ranked offense than we did, and then they had less. Their receivers weren't even on the damn field as much as ours was.
Yeah. I mean, look, Jacksonville, that second half of that Chargers game, I was like, whoa. They can't do what they did against most other teams, but I don't see Trevor Lawrence throwing 4 interceptions in a half again. I just don't see it. So,
that was odd.
that was.
And I think
I'm gonna
that's
say it was a
jitters.
fluke.
I think it's jitters. That's a big step for him to make. I mean, he had a really good year all year. And he gets his first playoff game. It's a lot to get under your belt. And I don't think he's going to have a problem for the rest of his time. So I think that kid's going to go on and probably win a couple Super Bowls too. He's that good. As long as they have the right pieces around him, and they have one of the best coaches to be around him. So
I will say I'm very excited to watch football this weekend. Like I've made peace that my team is out, and I'm like, you know what? It is what it is. I'm going to enjoy watching football the rest of the year. So I'm excited to watch football this weekend. I think there's going to be some really good games. I think it'll be exciting. And yeah, I'm just super excited about it. Caslin, man, tell the people to donate to the channel, help the channel grow. Tell them to donate and why you donate when you do.
What do I do? I donate to help you guys out, and that's pretty much what the community's about. It's trying to help each other out, and and I like what you guys do, so that's why I donate. Everybody else should be donating too.
I appreciate it, Caslin. Thank you when you do donate. And I try to tell people all the time, it goes such a long way into helping the channel grow and wanting to do bigger and better things. And we did. We grew a lot this year at Miami Sports Music, and I want to build upon that and make it even bigger, badder, and better next year. And we're going to keep doing that. So, Caslin, man, thank you so much for coming on this morning. When you do donate, I really appreciate it. And thank you for supporting the channel, man. I love you, brother. Appreciate it.
And there's only a few channels I do support. So just remember.
I don't take it for granted. I don't take it for granted. I don't, man. I tell people all the time I don't. So I appreciate it.
I think it would be decent if the Buffalo Bills do win the Super Bowl. It's not something you hang your hat on, but yeah, you have a 3-point differential against Super Bowl champions and have a win against them and could have won 2 more games.
I'm not rooting for Buffalo. I want them to lose this weekend. But if for some reason they don't and they make it all the way, we're going to be like, as Dolphin fans, we're going to be like, bro, we went toe to toe with them. Let's go. We're only a few pieces away from making this thing work.
That's the point. That's basically the point.
Yep. All right. Let me bring on, if y'all want to get in, the link is pinned to the top of the page. We got a little bit longer up here. But I want to remind you guys, donate to the channel, help the channel grow. You guys can donate on Cash App or PayPal using MSM Podcast Network. You see the QR code right on your screen, or you can use PayPal, which is also MSM Podcast Network. You can look, $1, it doesn't matter, whatever you can. If you're interested in getting into the Super Bowl box pool, it's $50 a box. You send it through Cash App or PayPal. All the information is right here. Send box numbers and names to vpmiamisportsmusic@gmail.com. And when you send the money, make sure you put your name in the message with the payment. Don't put box pool or anything like that. We want to get these numbers filled up, so start sending the money in. I have a feeling, as we get closer to the game, these box numbers are going to start getting filled up. So come on, do it. Help the channel, help yourself, have a chance to make some money back. It will be good. Okay, let me bring in Alex. Good morning, Alex. Or good afternoon. We're past noon.
What's up? What's up, guys? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well. God bless you and your families.
God bless you. I appreciate it, man. Same to you, my friend.
Thank you very much, man. And I honestly, in my opinion, I really didn't want to see Boyer go because I don't think he was the issue. Because look what he had to work with: a banged up secondary, Nick Needham gone, Brandon Jones gone. And some players developed nicely under him this entire season. Christian Wilkins ended up continued to become one of the best defensive tackles in the NFL. And Jalen and Phillips is a beast, and a lot. But hey, it is what it is. A lot of people talk about Vic Fangio. One person that I could probably be okay with is Ed Donatello. Ed Donatello is another guy I would really look at too. What do you guys think about that?
Jason?
Go ahead, Steven. You got it.
I mean, I'm not as familiar with Ed Donatello. I think, for me, the little bit I know about Ed is he was with
Minnesota
Vikings as their defensive coordinator.
For a couple years.
Yeah. So let me try to look him up. I'm pretty sure. I mean, look, anybody that has 42 years of coaching and 31 seasons in the NFL, somebody that you can lean on and rely on. I know, he doesn't have a history of being a head coach in the NFL, but, defensive coordinator of Vikings, defensive coordinator of the Broncos, defensive backs coordinator, secondary, defensive coordinator for the Falcons, defensive coordinator for the Packers in the early 2000s. The man has a history, let me tell you.
It would be like if there was a contingency plan, he would be like the D or the E of it, but he fits the mold.
He fits the mold of what we've been talking about all morning. A veteran coach who's been in the league for many years, who understands the game, who can be relied upon and put a coaching staff.
The thing about the whole Boyer thing, and yes, there was injuries, and yes,
I thought he did a good job with what he had to work with.
Imperium Gaming, we can see you, brother.
With the fact that there was so many injuries and what you had to work with, fine, I'll give you that. There was some admirable adjustments with that. But ultimately, there was just not a learning from the mistakes, and the talent would have developed with or without Boyer. Christian Wilkins is going to develop with or without him. Jalen Phillips, these are players. These are football players.
Okay.
My problem was just it was the same thing. I mean, I can't remember a time where us all 3rd and 9 and above should not be stress inducing. Every single time in key positions, second half, fourth quarter, they were picking up defenses. The defense was not stopping the offense, and it was in really, really horrible ways. And Boyer, to me, didn't do anything to maximize the talent that was on the field. He did things to detriment them because of not being in the right position or not in the right play calling situation. So I think that the skeleton crew on defense could have been put in better positions at times throughout the season, and we could be talking about a game instead of talking about what we're talking about right now. I believe that.
Yeah, I get you, Jason, and you're right. It was stressful on 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 15. Where the other teams just converted like with ease. And of course that's frustrating. But also, this was McDaniel that a lot of people don't know, but McDaniel was the one that brought them back. He had a chance to get rid of them in the offseason when he was hired, and Salguero even reported that it was McDaniel that brought back Crossan and Boyer. They weren't forced on him.
Boyer
was most definitely forced upon that man.
Salguero reported that though that it was his.
I don't care what Armando Salguero reported. I'm telling you right now, he was forced upon that man.
Coach, I went on a Spaces. I remember 2 days, 3 days before the whole thing went down. I'm like, put it on my freaking tombstone. Boyer's going to be retained no matter what last year, and that was just the deal. Here is your coach.
You want to be the head coach? This is the defensive coaching staff you're working with this year. If it doesn't work out, we can talk about it next year.
First question, can you develop Tua? Yes, how? Great, like it. You want Josh Boyer as your coordinator? No choice, he's yours. You want him? Great, we'll hire you. That's when it came into the fact of McDaniel.
Yep.
And I'm just going to say,
Why is that so hard for you to believe, Alex?
That's exactly the scenario because there might have
Because
been
nobody in their right mind would take a head coach job if a coach is forced upon
That's
him.
not true.
Not true.
Boyer is the example, my guy.
Exact example. And look, as much as I like McDaniel,
Oh yeah, I like McDaniel too. Yeah,
he was a rookie coach who has an opportunity to get a head coach job in the NFL. It's like when you're an actor and you're going for a part, and they say, "Do you know how to speak French?" You say, "Yeah," and then you learn how to, speak French. You say, "Yes." You're a rookie head coach. He had no other leverage. That's the job he wanted. Do you mind Josh Boyer? Got him. I'll take care of Tua. Yeah, we got it. And maybe they sprinkle that next year. If it doesn't work out, you can take care of it. But Boyer's your guy this year. That's what was told to him.
Okay, right. I get you. I think if whoever they bring in, I think they should stick to a 3-4 because I think this team is better running at a 3-4 than a 4-3.
You know why you say that, Alex? Because that's all you've seen them really be successful in the last 3 or 4 years. You haven't seen somebody who has been, and that's the scheme that Flores decided to implement during his scheme. We bring in a veteran defensive coaching staff or a veteran defensive coordinator. If he decides to do a 3-4 or 4-3 or whatever, 5-2, I don't care what he wants to run. Let him run the thing. Don't handcuff him. Because when you're sitting here, and I get what you're saying. Look, as a fan, this is what I want to see because our personnel is catered to this particular defensive scheme. I call BS. I think all these players that are here, you put them in not all of them, a good majority of them that they're going to retain can adapt to a 3-4 or a 4-3 no matter what. It's going to be the coaching coordinator's decision on what defensive scheme that's being run. I'm not trying to call you out. I'm just telling you,
I get
your mind to either way,
No, I totally get it. I mean, hey, if they run a 4, I'm all for it. I honestly like the 3-4, but if they run a 4-3, that's fine. You have Chubb and Phillips right there at the ends. And then of course you have Raekwon Davis and Christian Wilkins as your 2 defensive tackles, and you could split Steeler and you could rotate Steeler right there in the defensive tackle position. But Adam Gase ran a 4-3, and it was. I get the personnel was different with Gase and Philbin running the 4-3, but I don't know. But it is what it is, and as they need a middle linebacker. They need to replace Jerome Baker. I like Jerome Baker a lot, but I think he's not your typical middle linebacker. They need to push him to the outside, and they need to get a thumper in the middle. Levante David is the guy who I would love to go after. Levante David or Pratt from Cincinnati as well.
I don't disagree there. They definitely need a guy in the middle.
All right, Alex, anything else before I let you go, buddy?
No, that's it, guys. You guys have a great day. Stay blessed, and have a great day, man.
Likewise,
Hey,
Alex.
no problem, bud. Be good, man. Appreciate it. All right, Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami Fan Morning Show. If you haven't hit the like button already, hit it. Only 50 likes. Hit the like button. All right, let me bring on our next guest, Mr. Crybabies himself. What's up, baby? How are you? What's going on,
I'm
man?
doing my best Javon Holland impersonation right now.
That's good.
Oh, Javon Holland, you're on the floor.
Nice. Very good.
What's up, man?
I just came to drop in and ask what we crying about today.
Well, it seems like
happy.
I think most people are happy
I'm
that
happy.
That Boyer was let go. I think most people are happy that they made some sort of moves. There are some, we haven't talked quarterback today. I mean, we could still do that if you want to go to the madness.
I'm not really interested in that. I think the GM and the coach made it very clear what their plan is, and if they deviate from that plan, hey, we'll get to that when it gets there. But right now, they were very straightforward with what they said.
Are you surprised?
Can they ultimately deviate from the plan? Sure. Do people do it all the time? Yeah, sure. Josh Rosen's our quarterback, but until it happens, like, what are we arguing about?
No, look, I think people want to argue because I think there's different philosophies on how you change, how you correct the mindset.
So apply to be the GM for the Miami Dolphins.
Well, they're not
stop crying on Steven's channel.
I think people like to complain for anything they like to complain about. Case in point, just to address cap for life, I think I kind of explained the fourth quarter problem in Buffalo, which was clock management, which was not really getting up to the line of scrimmage with sufficient amount of time. So I put that on. I just think that, we as a community, everyone loves to argue. So yeah, crybabies, there's always something to cry about.
I mean, that's what
Nothing to
fans
cry about.
do,
The future's
Andrevian.
looking
That's what
good.
they
No matter
do,
no
man.
matter what you think about this season, it's looking like things are going to be on the up and up. We're probably going to get an upgrade at defensive coordinator. Hopefully, health withstanding. I mean, our offense is top 10. Maybe it'll be top 5 next year. That's what
Hey,
I'm
real
hoping
quick,
for.
Woody Page of the Denver Post, Woody Page from Around the Horn, posted this recently in the Denver Post. I don't know if this is today or yesterday or whatever. You ready? This is from Woody Page from the Denver Post.
Watch this be something so old. I hate when you and Batman do this.
During his time with the Denver Broncos, linebacker Bradley Chubb did not have the best relationship with head coach Vic Fangio. Reports have surfaced that Chubb felt disrespected by Fangio, particularly with regards to his injury history. Chubb suffered a torn ACL in 2019. Chubb felt that Fangio did not take his injury seriously and would have often called him, quote, a fat bastard in front of the team, also referring to him as fat bastard from the Austin Powers movie, which made him more uncomfortable.
Wait. I need this sourced. I need this absolutely. You're not falling for a fake page, are you?
I'm not. Okay. These comments from Fangio.
You are reading this from the Denver Post.
This is a Denver Post column from Woody Page. Okay.
That is hilarious.
Okay.
That's crazy because I thought,
Fangio,
Bradley Chubb was Vic Fangio's guy.
These comments from Fangio, along with his lack of understanding of Chubb's injury reportedly caused tension between the two. Chubb felt as though he was not being treated with respect and care that the player deserved as a player, and ultimately led to the breakdown in their relationship. Chubb went even on to say that the way Fangio treated him made him want to leave Denver. It is clear that there were issues between Chubb and Fangio, and it is unfortunate that it had come to this. Chubb is a talented and dedicated player who deserved better treatment from his coach. Hopefully, in the future endeavors with other teams, he will find a coach who will love and respect and support him both on and off the field.
Well, that is hilarious, first and foremost.
I'm going to tell you right now, Vic Fangio's not coming to Miami. Okay? That's not going to happen. Y'all need to just get Vic Fangio out of your mouth.
When did that get published? Today?
I don't know. I need to. I don't know. I need to go look. But
that is hilarious.
Don't know.
But I mean, I was saying yesterday with some other people that Vic Fangio, that's the top of everybody's wish list, of course. But I mean, I felt like if we can't get Vic Fangio, Mike McDaniel is going to go poach one of his guys from San Fran and sign me up. Sign me up if it's the San Fran defensive water boy. Because that defense. What'd you say?
Gotta wait till D'Amico gets hired because he's gonna bring his own. That's the first.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's gonna happen. But I would tell you right now, based on this, Fangio is not the guy.
Everybody's talking about I don't know much about him, but a lot of people talking about some guy named Kosarick. He's defensive line coach for San Fran. Apparently, him and Mike McDaniel are close. I have no idea how to confirm it. I've just been hearing people say it. I don't know. Have you seen their defensive line?
It'll be really interesting to see.
Yeah, but all right. So Andrevius, let's say, what's this person's name? Casa Rich, is that his name?
Something like that. They were talking about him yesterday. Hold on. I'll get his exact name. Give me a sec. Chris Kosarick. He is Kris. Last name Kosurek.
All right. He is.
And Cap, no, we don't feel stupid.
By the way,
I don't care if
he
we
was
don't
the
get Vic
Dolphins.
Fangio.
He
I
was the
just don't want
Dolphins
somebody
defensive line coach in 2018.
I need somebody who's not going to run prevent defense on 3rd and 5. Screw you.
All right. So here's my problem with this person. Okay. He's been in Miami before. He was the defensive line coach here in 2018. What I will say is, he doesn't have a long history of being a veteran. He's not a veteran coach for the most part. He just got into the NFL, and he's been in the NFL since 2009, but he was an assistant. Then in 2010 to 2017, he was a defensive line coach for the Lions. 2018, he was a defensive line coach for the Dolphins. In 2019 to present, he was the defensive line coach for the 49ers. So he has never really moved up. He's pretty much been the same thing his entire career, including at West Texas A&M, Texas A&M Commerce. Yeah. So look, I don't think he's not the guy I would want at all.
Got to be a veteran who's had
Got to be a veteran.
experience.
You have to have somebody come in. Did
Gotta be a
Steven
veteran.
just flip-flop less than 5 minutes on the exact same stream, Cap for Life? I basically said if this is an accurate thing, if this is true.
Man, I don't think this is real. I'm Googling Woody Page, Bradley Chubb, Vic Fangio, and I'm seeing none of this.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Woody Page, Denver Post, Bradley Chubb. And what is it? Vic Fangio?
Yeah.
I don't know. I have to look. But
Man, I don't see none of this. I think you got by the internet.
well, if I got, it was by Sorty off of
Oh, come on. It was from Sorty.
it was from
Oh my
Sorty.
goodness.
love
I hate
Sorty,
you
but
so
that's-
much, Steven.
Dude, well, I love you so much, Steve, but you know what that
But
is?
he directly said this is from the Denver Post and Woody Page and put the
Sorty.
screenshot of it.
Some men just want to see the world burn, Steven.
It was from Sorty.
That's like me seeing something at the grocery store saying, "Oh my God, UFOs landed in Denver." No, didn't happen. Sorty.
I'm putting
I love
it up
Sorty.
here.
I love Sorty, but come on, Sorty. That's my guy. But that's some fun.
I mean, it is a legit, he screenshotted it. It's got to be.
I just knew Steven was getting got by the internet. I just knew it.
I'm not. I don't. If
it's on the internet, it has to be true. I know.
Can you put a link to the post, to the OG post? Here we go. That's what I'll do.
Oh boy.
And we'll see what happens.
Oh boy.
If Shorty got me live on my show.
We should bring Shorty out right now.
I know Shorty should come in for this one.
Oh man, that was fun.
I really hate you, Steven. You really fell for it.
He might have got me.
You might.
But I mean, it looks legit. It looks.
You might have
legit.
created a weekend's worth of memes with Bradley Chubb. So.
I mean, I was all here for the story being real because that sounds hilarious. That sounds
if that's even remotely
freaking hilarious.
It would be crazy.
I mean,
right?
his last name's Chubb. He isn't he's a big guy, but he's not the Greek goddess that Jalen Phillips is, and Vic Fangio calling him a fatty with no
fat bastard from
no
Austin
sense
Powers.
of self. That would be hilarious.
I can't wait to see what Sorty says. By the way.
Are you reaching out to him right now and asking him?
I hit him up on Twitter
Oh,
and a tweet. Hey man, can you send me the link of the original post?
oh boy. Chubbgate.
Chub
Here we
Gate.
go. Fat bastard gate.
Fat bastard Gate.
Here we go.
I will never read another live thing again if this turns out to be not true that I got. If I got.
I just Googled Bradley Chubb fat, and I'm thinking that's got to get it right. No, nothing.
Let me bring on William Perry real quick. William, do you think I got? Did I get William?
Steven, you've got the face and head shape of somebody that got. I'm just saying. Jason Sarning.
Summer man.
My guy.
My guy.
Hey, there's a conspiracy theory running wild amongst the interwebs. That the Veza brothers may or may not be serial killers.
Get me canceled.
I don't know who came up with such a conspiracy theory, but me
William
as
Perry,
a journalist,
it's serial unalivers. It's unalivers.
Serial unalivers. So we've rebranded the term, right? So these serial unalivers, me being a good journalist that I am, I went and did my work. And these guys got the cut of jib of serial murderer, alivers, unalivers.
Well, I got to tell you, I don't know where any bodies are buried, but if I did, I sure as won't say a word with those two on the loose.
I tell you what, I can't stop watching their interviews.
I did go and Google the Bosa brothers yesterday after I got off the show.
Steven, come on now.
They're interesting. They're interesting. I will say that. They are very interesting.
I always thought it was
wait, I'm about to go down this rabbit hole. What did you guys discover about the Bosa
William
brothers?
Perry came onto the show yesterday and basically said that the Bosa brothers have murdered people and are cannibals, that they eat people.
I mean, just look
like if they were having Thanksgiving at the Bosa house, you would wonder if it was dark meat or white meat, or do they enjoy the occasional mixed beverage like myself? You know what I'm saying? And watching those interviews,
you have just made it soup. What? Somebody pay to get this man off. What in the world?
Well, at least somebody got everything off the Woody Page story for Steven. William.
I know, right?
Focus is on you now, William.
In 7th grade, I did a speech about UFOs. And guess what, Steven?
What?
20 years later, all that shit is true. I'm just saying, 20 years from now, we might be seeing my picture saying, this is the guy that blew the whistle on it. He saw him. I'm a student of human movement, Steven. And these guys move like they eat people.
Well, how come you didn't call out Aaron Hernandez when he was out here killing people?
I did say something about Aaron Hernandez. I didn't like the shape of his head either.
Listen, that whole team, that whole 07 Florida Gators team, that championship team, it's a lot of skeletons in those closets.
We know why Tebow was the only one.
We need to check out. No, William. We need to check out. We need to check out Tebow closet.
Nothing to talk about.
Bonjo, this is something to talk
about. The last 2 hours and 20 minutes that we've been talking football, and in the last 3, it just turned into left field as soon as I brought William. As soon as I read Sorty's tweet. As soon as I read Sorty's tweet, it went out the window.
I'm not even seeing this tweet, Steven.
Blame Sorty.
Von Joe, are you trying to be one of those Bosa eating people deniers?
I'm starting to think Steven made the whole thing up. I'm on Sorty's page. I don't even see it on his page.
I think Steven wrote it himself.
I tweeted him.
I see what you're editing right now.
I'm not editing nothing.
Wow.
Wait, there might have been a glitch in the matrix.
Steven made up a story and then tried to pin it on Sorty. Wow.
Hey, you sounded like you read it.
I was reading it the entire time. There we go. Oh, he erased it.
No.
I swear to God, he erased it.
Imagine that.
Wow.
I wish I had a screenshot of it. No. I'm so mad at Sorty right now. Sorty, get up. I'm about to put the link in here for
So
him to get
now's
up.
your chance to flip flop right back. We're back to Fangio.
Get on.
Say it, Steven.
Oh.
Say we're back on Fangio.
I can't believe Sorty got me. Yes, Sorty, or yes, the Vic Fangio is the guy.
Hit the button.
Hit the button.
Hit it.
What?
Hit the button. Thank you.
Yes,
Jesus
Vic Fangio's the guy.
Christ.
I swear he erased it.
Oh my god.
He erased
Look
it.
at us.
We're doing social media controversy right now. This is
That's
great.
what I'm saying.
Well,
I just want to see how much traction I can gain with this Bosa clip.
Scott Jackson.
Thank God I was up here. Because when I hear crazy stuff, I always Google it immediately.
All
and
you gotta
Steven
do
was
is
just
go
going
look
to
at-
run with it. Steven was just going to run with it.
Look, just go look at the Nick Bosa interviews.
Hey, hold up.
Joey Bosa interviews.
Sorty has a blue check mark. It must be true.
He paid $8 for that.
A month. Right? A month?
$8 a month.
I got $8 too. You know
I'm
what?
gonna get a blue check mark for Steven so we can make sure that everything he says is 1,000% true because it came from blue check mark Steven's head.
Oh boy, we're off the rails.
See, I
are-
came up here to talk
Somebody
serious
screenshotted
business.
it for me. Thank you. Somebody did screenshot it for me.
Oh boy, here.
Okay. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you for screenshotting it.
Probably the same person that wrote it. You know what I'm saying?
I just DM'd them. Get on with the link to Sorty and I don't think I've really ever talked. I think we've been on a couple of spaces together. That's about it. But yeah.
Sorry's a good dude.
Travius with his $8 donation.
There you go.
Oh.
Blue
You said
check
you
mark
buy your own
Steven.
check mark and make up your own story. Shame.
Wait a minute. I wonder if I go get me a blue check mark, run the Bosa clips
2
concurrently.
flip-flops in less than 15 minutes.
And
This
then-
is a record-breaking day, bro.
So
I
it
like the way
actually,
you're going.
it actually negates it. Logic says that nothing ever happened.
Nothing
Yeah,
ever
yeah.
happened. What
It's
are we
called the-
talking about?
It just,
Yeah,
it just annihilated each other.
excluded middle.
Exactly.
I need to get Sorty on though. Yes. Here we go. I'm going to here we go. Download image. Download the image. There we
Hey,
go.
Steven, you got any traction to get some players on to talk
I
to?
just want people to think that I wasn't making this up. This was all
you know
Sorty.
what? I've
This was
come
all
up with the perfect idea. I am going to
saw it
create I'm going to create
One thing on this is, Steven, you saw it on Twitter and immediately thought this must be true. This is why everyone is effed up in the head that takes everything on Twitter as news.
You were exactly
I
right.
am going to
Jose
create
Valdez.
a burner
I definitely
account.
did a big
I'm going to
no-no.
create a burner account impersonating Stephen D, and I'm just going to spread false propaganda all day.
I'm just
That's
going
what
to
I'm
put
going to
one
do.
with my name on it and see what I can do with it. Just make up random things every day.
Jason, I did a big no-no today, didn't I?
Jeez.
And I'm going to buy the blue
I
check
messed
mark for that page.
You got that Scheftered.
I got that Schefter.
Big
I got. Sorry, got me.
You almost got level 2 nude.
No, I definitely got sorted today. There's no doubt about that.
This clip goes out, you will be level 2 nude.
You got sorted.
Oh yeah, this clip definitely goes out. I'm in trouble.
Wow.
Did he ever do the one with the dildos on your bed?
I don't know enough about Sorty. I've talked to him a couple times on Spaces, and the interactions I've had with him have been fairly good. So I didn't think it was bad. I don't. I know he's a big person in the Dolphin community on Twitter, so I was like, all right, he tagged the Denver Post. He tagged it. He showed a screenshot. I did multiple things. Okay.
I'm clipping it and sending it to Barstool Sports because they are not above posting it.
Oh yeah, they'll post anything.
Sorty Live and Sorty Twitter are different. I've met Sorty a couple times in games. Great guy. But
Okay. Sorty got me today. I want him up here. I want him to account for this error, this egregious error that I have made. And now
answer for your crimes, Stephen.
We need a really good meme.
He got me today.
This weekend's over. We need a really good fat bastard Bradley Chubb meme with me and Vic Fangio in Austin Powers costume.
Where's Noob? We need Noob on it right now.
Graphic designers. I'm not a graphic designer. I can't do that stuff. But we need something.
You're probably right. It is the person that wrote it.
Stephen, I had a fantastic idea.
What?
You want me to tell you?
No,
Are you excited?
Ahead.
Get excited. Put your excited face on.
I'm excited.
Me coming to Miami to Veza Sword with Von Green, and we get to do stand-up for you, the Miami Dolphins.
I'm with it, man. Let me tell you, I was on the phone yesterday with Veza Sword. We got some good stuff cooking in the kitchen. We got some big stuff lined up for y'all this coming up season. It's gonna be fun.
I will come to Miami and do this.
Well, you know what? We could do a night with Dolphin. Dolphin. We'll do stand-up comedians that are Dolphins fans. I know 3 of them: Vaughn, you, and Oscar from Dolphins NYC. Y'all come down. We'll have to do it during the season, so we can make a weekend out of it.
It has to be a home game.
We'll do it during a home game. Oh, Jason, we got something here.
Philly? The Philly takeover?
No, that's in Philly. It needs to be a home game in Miami. So we'll do it during a home game in Miami, and we'll get Veza Sword the night before to host stand up. We'll do stand up, and I'll give you all 10-minute sets.
Yeah, you can do 10-15s.
10-15-minute sets. I know I got 3 people from the get.
Yep.
We'll give Vaughn 15 minutes. We'll give you 15 minutes. We'll give Oscar 15 minutes.
Bro, give Pete like 30 minutes.
And then we get
goes up there and says his
D
takes.
to close it out.
We'll get Solo D to close it out. Look, my goodness. Who
Thank
would
you,
not
William
want to come
Perry.
to that?
Who would not? You're welcome. You're welcome, Stephen.
I like it. I wonder if Dolphin fan comedians can get any material about the Dolphins over the last couple of years.
I have.
Vaughn has definitely used Dolphins in his content before.
All right, William. We got it.
Respect to comedians. I respect
now,
you all.
let's get this set.
From DSM Sports says he's going to be in the house.
Let's go. So let's go ahead and get this together now.
Where does Sam from Perfectville live?
I think California.
So would he? I don't know him. I would love for him to come, but it would be dope.
Great. He is funny as hell.
Have you talked with him before?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hit him up on our behalf and say, hey, we're thinking about doing a Miami Dolphins stand-up night showcase. And we got some stand-up comedians that are legit stand-up comedians, and we'll do a big night at our sponsor. We'll do it at Veza, and we'll do it during a home game this year, and we want to set it up. And so, that'd be dope.
That's great.
I'm with that.
My show is almost sold out too.
I like it. I'm with it, man. Oh man, I'm excited. This is why I started the Clock Blockers, to be able to bring fans together and to hear conspiracy theories about how the Bosa brothers are serial killers and cannibal leaders.
I love it. I see.
Right. No more Denver Post for Steven.
No more Sorty tweets for me. Sorty got me.
Sorty, give us all the tweets. We can just move. We can make whole shows off of these.
So far, Steven. Actually, we have our highest viewers after all of this so far this morning because of all this. We've got the highest viewers.
Controversy sells, baby.
What in the world? Robert, why do we have our highest viewers now? What happened?
Hey, buddy. So we need to ask Perry a question real quick.
Let's go.
Perry, did you put out an APB for Boyer? Because I think the Bosa brothers ate him, man.
I may or may not have a burner Twitter account with a blue check that may or may not say. It may pop up at some point. Nobody notices. It's just little, niblets.
Don't trust tweets when you are live, John Fernando said. Yep.
But you're hearing this from the horse's mouth, though. You know what I'm saying? Well, I didn't. Well, I did actually make those up. I just make up things on the internet and then spread them to you guys. Kind of like how the internet runs itself.
Pete, why not? You're the last person I'm bringing up. I'm not bringing up anybody else, but I'll bring up
What's
Pete.
up?
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Stephen. How's everybody doing today on a Spread Kindness Friday?
We're
I'm
ending
great.
Spread
Bradley
Kindness Friday
Chubb is
with you.
fat. Bradley Chubb
Let
a
me-
fat bastard, and he doesn't deserve to be on our linebacker.
I was listening, and I believe everything about it. My thing is, if he's able to call Bradley Chubb a fat bastard,
Now I know
no,
your
if
satire.
I believe it, Jason. I swear I do. He like that happens in the locker room. Let's not act like that doesn't happen in the locker room. And I just, if we hire Vic Fangio, Steven, can you imagine what he's gonna say about Tua? Holy, this can get this. Look, number one, I'm not.
We're running with this. I love how we're running with this narrative now that I this is on
Jesus
me. This is my
Christ.
fault, everybody. This is 100% my fault.
First of all, that was
Let it out, Pete.
didn't you say
Pray.
it was somebody
Empty the
from the
clip.
NFL, Woody? Damian Woody or something was saying that about Vic Fangio, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I believe it. He said that he was a fat back bastard, and I believe it. But listen, this is the issue. I don't even want Vic Fangio here in Miami unless he switches it to a 4-3. Okay? I need a defensive coordinator that is smart enough to come in and look at the talent we currently have on the roster. And I need that defensive coordinator with or without experience. I don't care. If you want a name, Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer will come in and look at this defense and say, this is best for a 4-3.
I thought
We're gonna
Mike
move-
Zimmer's in Colorado.
Mike Zimmer can sign a check over here in Miami. We need a defensive coordinator that runs a 4-3. That's
No,
important.
didn't he go to Dion in Colorado?
I'm not sure if he's still available.
He's not
He's still
officially there.
available.
We looked it up. He's not officially there. And
Not
all he
officially
was
there.
with Jackson State with him was a analyst. He was like a specialized analyst. That was it.
I'm gonna let Pete cook, but I just want to say this. I don't care if it's a 3-4, 4-3. I don't give a dang what the defense is, as long as Jalen Phillips ain't in coverage 100 times next season.
I never want to
You
be
see-
in fear
look-
of 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 11 ever again.
I get it,
Harry,
Andrevius. You don't
It's
care.
not even that.
And all you
It's
want
3rd
is
and
Jalen
15.
Phillips. But that's what 4-3 does, Andrevius, is literally puts him on the end, puts him on the floor, and let's go after the quarterback. This is a Cameron Wake. This is our Jason Taylor that we are losing out on because they want to put him in a 4-3 edge and have him do multiple things. No.
I like what you're saying there because I love the fact that this defensive line can mirror kinda one of my favorite defensive lines from the mid-90s. Jason Taylor, Trace Armstrong, Tim Bowens, Darryl Gardner. They have those.
No, he's not as big as Trace Armstrong, but
You know what I mean.
he's like a Jason Taylor freak athlete.
Right.
He's a freak athlete like a Jason Taylor.
William,
He can
what's your
be
Twitter
just like
handle?
Cameron Wake. That's what we need for this guy. We really do.
What's your Twitter handle, William?
At Man versus Creole.
That man.
You can, two N's. MANN
Pete, for,
VSCREOLE.
Pete, for once, I agree with you, man.
Man, I appreciate you guys. You guys are starting to wake up. You guys are starting to wake up.
Don't take it that far. I said
Pete.
for once, I agree with you.
Pete,
Hey,
I
Pete,
make up
Pete,
conspiracy theories, and I don't even believe them half the time. But
Well,
when it comes to you, sometimes I'm just like, oh, somebody's drinking the wrong Kool-Aid. Not even the right Kool-Aid.
like I was telling the guys 2 days
that
ago.
purple stuff.
I was telling the guys 2 days ago, this fan base needs to start wrapping it up.
All
The
right.
Lamar Jackson
You know,
smoke.
wrap it up. We need to
The
wrap
Lamar Jackson. No, I know what I'm
Pete,
telling you.
Pete,
The
what
Lamar
would
Jackson
happen-
smoke.
Pete, if Lamar
is-
Jackson comes, what would happen with Skylar Thompson and all the
Skylar Thompson made a
name.
name for himself. This is our backup for the next future if Lamar Jackson comes in. Like,
We're
would
gonna
you be upset if Skylar Thompson is our backup next year?
No.
I don't mind
But-
Skylar being the backup, bro. I've already
You
said
know?
that.
That's fine.
Exactly. This is a proven great guy we can groom in the building, and he's the perfect backup to a guy like Lamar Jackson. You
I
get
don't
what I'm
think
saying?
Lamar Jackson is not the answer, bro. I'm sorry.
Now I gotta be honest with you. I feel like it is. You can't go wrong. If you get
Yes, you
Lamar
can.
Jackson, you're talking Super Bowl. Now, is it
No, you
concerned?
get Lamar Jackson, you're talking about a 1-8 or 1-17 team. We're gonna lose every game.
You can't even, like, that's trolling to the extremity right there. Like,
I'm
they
just
should time you
saying
out
he's
for
going.
that.
Hey, listen,
Are you aware that in the
because hold on a second, stop. Because if you try to pay Lamar Jackson the money that he wants, you
I
can't
don't
get
even want to stop.
you can't get an offensive line to protect him, and all those off script runs that he does, he's just going to get hurt faster.
I completely disagree with you on that.
Well,
But
I mean, you can disagree, but look where he's at now.
I
Look
think
where he's
our
at.
offensive line,
He's
our
on-
offensive line is good, and we're projected to get Austin Jackson next year healthier.
Well, I want us to get a better right tackle and move Connor and a center. You know what I'm saying? Move Connor Williams to left guard. And over there with Teron Armstead, I don't care who the right guard is because we got pretty good right guards.
We got Robert Hunt.
Anyways, Robert Hunt,
Robert
we're
Hunt's
good to
great
go.
right
You know what I'm saying?
Look,
if you're gonna go,
and we'll be able to run the ball. And if we can get Jahmyr Gibbs, there's your Super Bowl win right there.
I've heard
Here's
some
what
people.
Go ahead.
Here's what I do
pitch
want to
the
say,
idea
because
of
I
moving
don't
Robert
want to
Hunt to
talk.
right
This guy just got me off of the Lamar Jackson talk so bad after saying. I just want to switch the
off
topic.
it too.
Okay, I just want to switch the topic. My preferred move. This is my move. This is what Pete would do if he was the general manager of the organization.
Which we are glad you're not. But
You
go
are
ahead.
not, yes.
Okay, I'm telling you right now, this is the smartest move moving forward for the organization.
All right.
You go out and you get Sean Payton and Taysom Hill.
Oh,
You
I
trade
saw
for
you
this.
tweet it. I saw you tweet this. earlier.
You go out. If we're about to lose Mike Gesicki, hold on. If we're about to lose Mike Gesicki and let him walk, Taysom Hill is a tight end / quarterback. He's a pocket knife. He can do it all. And if we can get Sean Payton with this guy, with this defense, bring in Vic Fangio, that connection of experience, they will know how to turn up this
It's
team.
not wilding out, Winston.
Skylar Thompson
It is Kindness
will
Friday.
be able to get a fair shot. And if
not-
you're able,
not
hold on. If you're able to pull off a trade and get the coach and that defense, and you're also able to get a second-tier quarterback falling off of another team, for example, maybe a Zach Wilson, maybe a Jordan Love,
Did you
maybe
just say Zach Wilson?
can I finish? Because I'm saying more names, Steven. Other quarterbacks that are falling off of their team, like Zach Wilson, Jordan Love, or
Jordan
Trey
Love's
Lance,
staying in Green
if
Bay,
he's
isn't he?
available. Jordan Love or Trey Lance, if he's available. If you're able to get Sean Payton in the building
Trey
with Vic
Lance.
Fangio, one of these
Hurt
falling
more than
off
two.
quarterbacks, with this team, you already have Skyler. You have Taysom Hill as an emergency quarterback that
are
can
in
win you
full
games.
effect. 10-minute timeouts, day
One of
bans,
those
they're all
quarterbacks can compete with Skyler, and that'll be a fair, open quarterback competition moving forward. And that will turn this organization around a lot faster than trading everything and getting a Lamar Jackson, in my honest opinion.
I mean, I do like Taysom Hill.
I mean, all of this is possible on Madden franchise mode.
in
All of
Madden.
this.
Well,
In Madden.
I hate to leave on this kind of note, but I do have to bounce. This was a weird take, Pete, but it's a
Sarney, so you scared Sarney away, Pete, with all
You
this
scared
crazy.
Sarney away.
That's my dream scenario.
All right, we all got to go, actually. So, Sarney, hit us up with the first final thought of the day.
Oh, the final thought of the day is this is going to be a fun off season. Let's have patience because it's McDaniel's first one. So we might see some interviews. We might see some time until things are getting really, really done and changing. But I do think that the positive momentum is going to continue. I don't think we're going to see Pete's scenario, but I just want everyone to have a fun, happy, and a healthy off season. We're going to be doing a lot more fun things on Miami Sports Music. Ain't that right, Steven?
We got big things coming up, people. Big things. Big. Hold on. Here we go. Big
coming to Miami Sports Music Podcast Network.
Let's go. Let's go. All right, Jason. Happy belated birthday. Enjoy your week.
Happy birthday, Jason Sarney.
Everybody say happy birthday to Jason.
Oh,
Happy birthday.
Jason, happy
Oh,
birthday, dude.
shucks.
Have a great weekend, bro. Enjoy it.
He's
Love you guys.
bashful.
Thank you so much.
Reach out to Sam from Perfectville.
Yes, I'm on it.
Yes.
And tell him we'd love to have him on the show during the morning, too.
We're not going to offer airfare, though.
Bye, Pete.
Yesterday's
You're gone, Pete. Adios. In the voice of Rick James, cocaine is a hell of a drug. Adios, Pete. All right. Let's go to Robert. Final thought of the day.
Sweet. Should be good, man. Decent show today. I'm gonna have to
Fantastic
Wednesday was
show.
ridiculous. Wednesday was ridiculous. Yeah, should be good. But patience, our fan base doesn't have patience. We are a bunch of impetulant children. Every single one of us. So it'll be interesting to see. But kids will be kids.
These
That's
kids
all I
will
got.
be kids. You're right. All right. Love you, Robert. Be good, brother.
See ya.
All right. Andrevius, final thought of the day, Andrevius.
Hey guys, I just want to say it is absolutely gonna be a fun off season. I see some exciting moves happening. I just hate that it's gonna take 8 months for it all to come together. Yeah, but it should be a fun 8 months starting around March is probably when it'll really kick up. And yeah, I've decided in 2023 I'm not gonna be fighting with Pete. I'm gonna embrace Pete's takes.
What?
I'm just gonna embrace Pete's takes.
We're gonna hold you to that. He says some crazy stuff. Are you gonna hold to that statement the entire year?
I didn't say I had to agree. I'm just.
He's gonna take it in.
I'm just gonna. Hey, it is what it is. I think Pete's a good guy, even though he's a little crazy. So yeah. And yeah, and I will never let you live down that you fell for a story about.
I did. I'm sorry. Sorry, got
Bradley Chubb being some fat bastard from Austin Powers and all that other foolishness that was said. We're never gonna let you live that down.
I was saying the story, I should have realized this is a little.
Bro, this is literally the stuff of satirical articles.
Sorty got me. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorty got me.
On that note, fins up. Y'all have a good one. God bless.
Andrevius.
God bless.
And I'm going to make that burner account of you with a blue check mark, and I am going to spread every conspiracy theory known to man.
And all you got to do is go Stephen D SKPL plus.
Here's the thing. If you see any, I had never, nor will I ever pay for a blue check mark.
Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Stephen D SKPL plus is paying for a blue check mark.
Not me at all. At Stephen D SKPL. That is all. Why do I have a feeling Andrevius is running with this? It's not. I
hope he runs full speed ahead. And
Steven,
then gives me the password to it, too. Thank you, Canes.
Right, hey,
of course, Canes.
Guys, we're $60 away from goal today. Donate to the channel, help the channel grow. If you guys want to get in on the Super Bowl box pool, Mr. William Perry, who's left here, already did. William, you got number 13. You were like, I'm getting number 13 before somebody gets it, huh?
13 is my family number.
Is your family number. So if you guys want to get in with Big Dougie B and William Perry, it's $50 a block. Send the box numbers and names to the VP Miami Sports Music at gmail.com. All right. And then send payments to the Cash App in PayPal, Miami Sport MSM Podcast Network, $MSM Podcast Network. When you send the money, make sure you send your name in with the message and the box numbers. Do not say box pool in it. Don't say, raffle. Don't say anything that has to do with any of that. Just make sure you just send the money and your name, and then the email. You can be more specific on everything. Just make sure you send everything. So these boxes, once they start going, they're going to start going. So I'm sure as we get closer to Super Bowl, people are going to get these boxes. So get in where you fit in. Ain't that right, William?
Get in. and then you get to face me in the boxes.
All right. Final thought of the day, sir.
Question, real quick. Why
Yes.
don't you ever, try to reach out to some players to get them on?
I do. I have.
Dude, I mean, I can make some phone calls.
Could you? That'd be amazing.
Yep.
Love that.
My
It would make
Alabama
me-
ties are
I
pretty
need
good.
off-season content. Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can get somebody, one that's closer to me, anyways.
Yeah, I would love to bring on former players. I have Richmond comes on here and there. Me and Richmond are close.
Richmond
Sean Wooden has been on before.
Richmond Webb is I like him a lot. Every time I see him on Regions
He
channel,
might be the nicest person in the world.
he's
I
a
absolutely
very nice guy.
love Richmond Webb and would do anything for Richmond. Absolutely amazing individual.
Yeah. Hey, put together that thing and let's get a date set so we can go ahead and get moving and lock it in.
What do we call it? We got to call it something.
I'll come up with a name today.
Miami Sports Music presents. Miami Sports Music and Veza Soar present.
The
Dolphins comedy.
No,
Dolphins comedy.
I'll figure out a name. I'm pretty good with stuff like that.
We'll have
yeah.
All right, your final
because my final thought is you are a wonderful person.
No, I'm not. Stop it.
I don't like the way that you talk so nicely about Apple today, but I see what you're trying to do.
You know how that much that hurts me?
It hurt me hearing it, Stephen. That's why I said, Apple phones are particularly rectangle. There's my comment of the day.
I might use that on Monday. I might use that on yes.
No, dude, you're great, brother. And we're gonna keep moving forward. It's gonna be funnier and funnier and funnier and funnier, and there's gonna be more stuff to talk about. Can't just talk about sports all the time, though, because that gets dull. You know what I mean? And I like to come in here and just throw the whole train off the tracks for you.
Well, you did that yesterday and today. Definitely did that.
It's my best part of my day, Steven.
The best part of waking up is clock blockers in your cup.
But it sounded like you said the other word whenever you said it.
Clock blockers?
Yeah, cock. Yeah, but
clock?
It sounded like cock.
Clock. Clock blockers in your cup.
If you say it too fast, we're going to get in trouble.
Best part of waking up is clock blockers in your cup.
All right. I'll see you soon, Stephen. I'll talk to you next week.
You're the man. I don't care. I don't care what they say about you. I love you.
Hey, a lot of big things coming up. Next week is my show. It's almost sold out. I think we're the room's capacity.
Tell the people where it's at again.
It's at Live Entertainment in Foley, Alabama. I think
you're going to be in the Foley, Alabama area next week. You got to go see my man William Perry hit the stage to do stand-up. If you're going to be in good old roadside country.
And guess what? My mother's going to be in the VIP section, so you get to see her roast me from the sidelines.
Foley, Alabama. Foley.
So I think we're almost to capacity. I think it's like 230. So it'll be. I think capacity is 230. So we've probably done about 190. So we're almost there.
Hey.
Big show.
Hey, make it happen.
I will.
Hey, share that Super Bowl box link even with your Alabama friends. They can get in.
I will. I'll is it on Twitter?
It's on Twitter. You need to hit me up on Twitter. But yes, it's on Twitter. But yeah, it doesn't have to be Dolphin fans that are. Sorty just wrote back to me. He said, "At work, amigo." Go listen to the last 30 minutes of our show today. You got me. Go listen to the last 30 minutes of my show today. Your post got me. Yeah.
Well,
you definitely got me.
Well, what I'll do is, wait, you've got Facebook.
I do have Facebook.
So I can just Post it on Facebook, and I'll snatch it and share it.
Because all your people, you don't have people that are cool that are on Twitter and Instagram. You have old
Well,
people.
man,
that live on Facebook.
the thing about it is I hardly use social media anyways, and the only reason that I'm starting to use it now is because I'm starting to venture out and do more comedy. So,
Will somebody confuse? No. So Will's nickname is the Ice Tray.
Yeah, they used to call me that as a kid.
So it's William the Ice Tray Perry here.
But don't get it twisted. I'm every bit as much as the athlete of a William Perry.
You're every much as big as a refrigerator.
That I can fit in it, but
that's what ice trays do. They go in the refrigerator. Actually, they go in the freezer. But the freezer's in the refrigerator, I guess. So I mean, it's something.
It depends on what brand of refrigerator we're talking about and where I can fit.
Can't with you all.
If it's a Kenmore, we're gonna have problems because that's a drawer.
How many rules when not partaking in sports? Can we call Willie Mini Cooler Perry? Ooh, I like that one.
I like that one too.
Mini Cooler, box cooler. Real talk. I watched Grumpier Old Men.
That's a great movie.
And I'm watching it with my wife, and my wife has never seen it. And I love the movie. And one of the main characters, I can't think of his name. I don't know why it's drawn.
The old man?
The old man. Not the old man, but one of the two guys. Why am I having a brain fart? I can't think of their names. Jack Lemmon is one of them, right? Jack Lemmon.
Yeah, and the other one is I would pull it up.
Whoever the other guy is, he brings boxed wine to to the girl. And I'm like, I remember boxed wine. I don't know if it's still a thing, but I remember it. I remember boxed wine. My mom, Walter Matthew. That's who it is. Walter Matthew. I remember boxed wine. Okay, that was the thing. That was a thing back in the day. Boxed wine.
They still have it. It's still a thing. Now they have wine pouches.
Wine pouches. Wow.
Yes, bro. It's everywhere.
Real talk, just a little side note. So my wife's from Mississippi, and she's from Natchez, Mississippi. Natchez, Mississippi. She's a good gal. She's a Southern belle.
She went to Mississippi State.
She went to Mississippi State for graduate school. She went to Alcorn State for undergrad. And,
is your wife like a nurse or something?
No, she takes care of me all the time.
Is she your lawyer?
No, she's a corporate. She was a licensed.
Oh, she's a corporate shill.
No, she was a licensed health care clinician for many years, working for Cigna, and now she works for another company, and she's part of their corporate training staff. And she has been like she's been a therapist. She's been a licensed therapist. She does all that. But anyways, I go down for the first time to Mississippi, and we go to Louisiana, which is right next door to Natchez.
Yeah, right next door.
There's a bridge there, and there's a drive-through liquor store.
Yeah, there's a drive-through liquor store right up the street from me right now.
Drive-through liquor store. Never heard of this.
It's one of the greatest ideas ever told.
So, time out. My entire childhood and my entire adulthood.
You've been lied to.
I've been lied to. Don't drink and drive. DUIs are bad, which they all are. Let's just get that straight.
In the South, we prefer you drink and drive.
Drive-through liquor stores where you can buy mixed drinks in styrofoam cups.
There's a place right up the street.
My mind was blown, William. I was like,
I'm surprised you haven't seen one of those in Miami.
No, bro, I'd never heard of it until I went to Louisiana. And my wife's like, oh, they do this in the South. What? Yes. Drive-through liquor stores where you can buy open drinks, mixed drinks with alcohol in them? So I was thinking, I'm like, well, what if you get pulled over? And she goes, if the top legally in the state of Louisiana and Mississippi, if the top is on the car,
and not punctured,
it's not considered open.
Exactly.
What?
Now, if you have
I
a
can
beer
literally
can,
take the top off and sip and put the top back on.
well, nobody said that. Hey, legalese is what legalese says, brother. But if you have a beer can that is open and crushed, like in the back, like in the inside of your cab of your vehicle, that is open container.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
They can charge. Most don't, but they can charge you for that.
By the way, I have had heard of like, I'd never really heard of drive-through liquor stores, but I have heard like that wasn't far-fetched. What was far-fetched to me is that I could buy a mixed drink with an open, like it technically was open, and it just made absolutely no sense to me whatsoever. It was the craziest thing I had ever heard in my life.
Question real quick about your wife. You said therapist. What kind of therapist?
I mean, she's done everything. She's
like
been
a physical, like
no, like mental, all mental.
Yes. Okay. So your wife would love me because that's mostly. I wrote a book on addiction, Stephen, and I've never been an addict, but I grew up and my kid's mom was a severe drug addict, and so I went down the rabbit hole of this whole thing. But I wrote a book. It took me 3 years to write this book on it, right? And then it was set to publish or go to edit. And then my house burned down in May, right? 3 years writing a book, and it all goes up in smoke with over 1,000 interviews, right? Inside of it. And the edit and all 9 notebooks for all the chapters, everything gone. And that was a sad day, bro. But it was also most the relieving day of my entire life because it's so hard. You see how I am right now. And I've always been like this, right? Write a book like that. Ask your wife how hard it is to like just attempt to write a book on addiction, especially whenever you're dealing with like how addicts are treated. You know what I'm saying? Throughout the court systems and how they're used as recyclables for the jail systems that they set up. Once you figure that out, it's the most angering thing. I walked around mad for about 2 years until that book burned to the ground.
Look, man, I love you. I'm glad that you're here. Andravia said he has a new. I am not affiliated with this account in any way, shape, or form.
It's SKPL Plus, Andrevius. XKPL Plus.
No. Now I gotta go to Stephen D _ There's not up there. That's good. All right, it's not up there.
Blue check coming. I'm funding this for at least a year.
Funding this at least for a year. I didn't see it up there, so I don't see it unless you got me. Am I already blocked from it?
Oh, you might be blocked from your own self.
my own fake account. I'm blocked from.
You're excommunicated from your own second personality.
Oh my goodness. Anyways, all right. Now that we just learned how amazing you are in your life story, William, I love you, brother.
Nah, I love you too, dude. I'll see y'all soon. Hey, fins up, everybody.
Tell the people to donate, man.
Yes, donate, like, share, subscribe, share to all your friends. I got Steven to 10,000 followers. You're welcome.
And you got 13.
Yep. Hey, let's get this filled up too, guys. Come on, $50 to win how much? $4.
End of the first, you can win 250. End of the second, 500. End of the third, 750. And if you get the final score, $1,000.
Holy shit! That's a bunch of money.
That's a bunch of money
for $50.
Where's Perry playing at again?
I'll be at live in Foley, Alabama.
Alabama. Yeah. Next week.
The 27th.
Go see my man William Perry
at 8:00, and you get to meet my mother.
She
is a delight.
I was about to say, I'm sure she is a delight and a Southern belle, just a beautiful, wonderful lady.
Brother, you don't know what a Creole is. You just met me. Meet like a old guard Creole. like one of them, oh man, she's the best. She's hilarious too.
You're the best, William. You're the best.
I try real hard, Steven.
Save me
And
a
that's
square,
a real
bro.
thing every
Next week,
day.
save me a square. Cap, you got a square, buddy. I don't think it's going to get filled up by next week, but you got it. As soon as it's paid, I'll put the number you want in there and everything, man. So, guys, get in where you fit in. I definitely want to see this thing filled up. I think we can get it filled up, but I need your help. Share it with everywhere. Share it with people everywhere. I posted it on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and tag a million people. Tag all your
Get
friends.
in touch with Dougie and Reason and all them too, and tell them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it just shouldn't be hard. We're all in the same community. We all basically all hang out. I just troll them in the comment sections.
Fanatical says, if I see William live, am I required to bring my sister as my date?
Yes, you are. If you're from the Midwest, though, because that's where that shit goes down. Y'all just made Alabama adopt that. You know what I'm saying? It's only because we sound funny.
You do sound funny. My sister's brother's mother, cousin. They're all of them.
You should hear my son whenever he's talking fast. It is quite
slow down, boy. Slow down. Slow down.
It's funny. Steven, I swear to God, I think me being me is like genetic. If you met, like, I know CB83 met my daughter on one of your shows whenever you're out of town, but she jumped in, and she is like, I tell you, she's the second, the first, she's probably the most popular person in town, hands down, right? And I come in a close second.
How old is your daughter?
She's 9, bro. She's the best.
Oh, yep. But she got everybody.
I'll bring her up. I'll bring her up one day whenever she's not at school. But like, if you saw her personality, you'd be like, oh, I see what she trolled her mom for 45 minutes about being white the other day. I am serious.
You'd be like, baby, you know you're mixed, right?
And then she called me while her mom was in the car, right? And was like, guess what I told white mom? I can't remember what she said, but I just remember what she said at that moment.
Can't with you. I can't with, you know, my kids are mixed too, and so they've had those questions too about being white and black and everything.
Dude,
and
it is the most awesome thing. Yeah, you're the best of both worlds.
Close to both worlds. Okay?
I'm 20 years ahead of my time, bro. I'm what the world's gonna look like in 30 years. We're a bunch of dark people looking like me. You know what I mean?
You, brother. God love you, man. Spread kindness Friday. Sorty laughed. I just got a tweet back from Sorty. He laughed. Will do, man. All right. I love you guys. Y'all are the best. Be good, William.
Fins up, baby.
Fins up. All right. Miami Sports Music's #1 Miami Fan Morning Show. We went a little crazy today. Wasn't expecting to be on this long, but we're here. And we're about to go. We'll be back Monday. Let's go. Tonight, CB83's in the building tonight, 8:30 p.m. Make sure you go listen to my man, CB83. He's got a great show on Friday nights. Make sure you go do that. I love you all. Hope you all enjoyed today. Do me a huge favor. Please donate to the channel. Help the channel grow. Get your Super Bowl box pool in. $50 per box, and the names, numbers and names. But tell your friends, get your friends too. This doesn't just have to be Dolphins fans. Okay? All right? I love you all. Y'all the best. We'll see y'all tomorrow. We'll see y'all Monday right here on the Miami Sports Music Podcast Network. Peace.
Bad vibes get sent out. Only fans up in this house. We've been waiting, yeah, we've been patient. Now it's time to cash out, no discount. Super Bowl, yeah, we en route. I don't know when, but it's close. I don't want to overhype, but I just know I like it. So excited. You gon' notice now. You should know the ride. They say 2 are from that rock. Shout out to Samoa and now it's time to lay the smack down. You think he Dwayne Johnson. Time to be the people's champ. Hit him with the people's elbows. Sit together like it's Velcro. You think you could stop us? Hell no, all day.